This world is hard on silly men. Men filled with a joyous whimsy. Nothing in this world is harder than being a goofy and fun-loving guy.
God, it is so tough being such a goofy, fun-loving guy, huh, Benkai? The world must be so rough on you.
No, it's more so on... Wait, Mr. Kermit back there. Look at him.
He looks... I mean, the world actually does look like it's taken its toll on Kermit.
His neck is giving in.
What
No
truth
stabilization.
does he have to tell?
From the collar to the head.
Sometimes I have days like that as well, Kermit. But you know what? Stay strong, my man. Stay strong.
Dude, we gotta... Dude, Josh, when I tell the viewers and listeners this week that we got a show for them, I fucking mean it. We got a show for them. All types. There's so much stuff happening.
There is.
There's so much stuff happening, and you know what's tough in times like these. Like, where do I go for a reliable source of information, for intellectual yet digestible takes on champions, the franchise league? God, where do I go?
Grubhub?
Well, too early for that. I mean,
that would not fit there. That would not fit there.
We'll do that later.
But I was going to say the Plat Chat Valorant podcast.
Of course.
But not only do we have ourselves, no. We had to bring in a goddamn pro to give us the real information. So Benkai is on this week in full penguin outfit, ready to dispense information to the people. The people who are craving the knowledgeable takes. We're actually going to have them.
You know, I think there's been too much fun on Plat Chat as of late. There's been too much joking, humor, bits, funnies. I can't stand for it. We need someone who can provide hard-hitting analysis and good takes, and that's why Benkai's here.
Yeah, absolutely.
What have you done to Kermit? I mean, no wonder he's sat like that when you're putting your hand up there.
I don't know. I just don't know where like all the cotton went from his neck. It's just gone. I don't know. The crown is just left there now.
Are you planning to do the entire podcast as if you're Kermit? That would be a next level of whimsy.
I could. I'll just leave it. I'll just leave him like by the side as my co-host.
That's awesome.
There's so much stuff that has been happening in this past week. Let's dive in. First of all, this morning, all of the champions' details have been revealed.
Have they all been revealed? I actually missed
I think
this.
so.
I woke up and just assumed.
Well, first of all, you got hired. I don't know if you saw that.
I got hired?
Yep, you're doing champions. I don't know if you saw that.
No,
congratulations.
I didn't realize. Thanks.
Congrats, Josh. Josh is going to be there. So yeah, they announced all of the details. They did like the little talent announcement. They dropped the groups. So a lot to chew on there. Stuff to dive into. Did they? I mean, those are the details that matter the most.
Have they announced ticket sales and stuff? So,
that one I don't know.
Kurt just tried to have a look and it says service returned an invalid response.
That's awesome.
I hope this is because so many people want to buy the tickets.
Yeah.
The crowd will be packed. I have been told it's a much larger crowd than at Copenhagen as well.
I mean, that just makes sense given that there's such a larger audience for Valorant in Turkey than Denmark.
Yes.
You would hope.
Yep.
You would hope.
Benkai, did you know what the groups were before you saw it?
We didn't really have any like information beforehand, so we found out the same time as everybody else. And it's funny because we were discussing amongst like our team, the teams from LCQ that we didn't want to face, and EDG was at the top of that list. And lo and behold, we got them on the first draw.
Absolutely trolled by Riot.
DRX every time, and then EDG this time around as well. You just can't get somebody from EMEA or North America to begin with, huh? It'd be nice if you could just beat someone up easy to begin.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like, yeah, you gotta beat everyone, right? So
Yeah.
You were saying before we began that you had something scheduled with EDG as well.
oh right, yeah. So the team had like 2 sets of scrims on tomorrow and Saturday or Sunday, I don't know. But we immediately cancelled our scrims after we found out that we were playing them in the first round.
Yeah.
Do you guys scrim against EDG a lot?
We scrim them from time to time. I wouldn't say like they're like practice partners like DRX, but they were already pretty good like from the time that we were playing them last time. So
Yeah. See what I'm trying to get at here, and this is a question for you or for Kermit, but what I'm trying to get at here is there are people involved with this show even that are at astronomical fucking hype levels for Edward Gaming. Ride or die Edward Gaming fans. So I'm trying to get at how good you kind of feel that they are, you know, just generally. We'll talk about it more in detail later, but I mean, you said they were at the top of the list of teams that you don't want to play against. Is that just because they're that good?
It's just from like trauma that we had as a CS team facing Tyloo back in the days. We just get demolished by that team like over and over, and when China came into Valorant, we were like, oh my god, we don't want to face another Chinese team like that again. But you know, after practicing them, it wasn't really as bad as we thought that it would be. So I would say that it's gonna be a close game, but it's also gonna be a banger, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see how it couldn't be. Every game I've watched of theirs is absurd, and you're one of the most fun teams to watch as well. So I think that's... is that the first game of the entire tournament?
Yeah, that is. Yep. They released the schedule as well. That is the very first game.
What a fat game to start things out.
First game.
What an absurdly good game to begin.
Yeah, I do kind of want to say about these groups. I thought there was going to be some kind of like seed element in regards to not every team starting in groups, but I guess I was just completely mistaken.
Champions had every team starting in groups.
Yeah, they did last time, but I thought that for some reason that was not going to be the case this time. But
I think the big change is that they've got double elimination.
I think the streets were saying that, but the streets were wrong.
The streets were so incorrect.
The streets are frequently wrong.
But yeah, so there's double elim in the playoff
stage.
bracket now, which is the significant difference.
I mean, that is just massive because... listen, I like the way the Champions was formatted last time. I feel like for some tournaments, you kind of benefit from having single elim. Like if there were frequent single elim playoff tournaments, that would be awesome. But when it's the one big thing at the end of the year, you want a spectacle. And I think double elim gives you that spectacle as well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Are there any other important details? I'm glad to see, I mean, they've announced it. I'm glad to see Achilleos back in the event.
Yes.
I missed having, at some of these previous events, I missed having talent representation from the other regions.
It kind of felt like all EMEA North America.
Yeah, because it was.
It was.
Yeah, I know, but that's weird for a global event.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it just felt like the EMEA NA event, but I really enjoyed. I think it was it was so long ago, but I think it was last Reykjavik was the one they had Paperthin and Achilleos cast, and then Paperthin did champs, I want to say. If I remember correctly,
both did champs
and couldn't do Berlin, something along those lines. But regardless, I enjoyed having those guys at the events because it gives it that big international feel, which I think was kind of missing. So I like that. Was glad to see Seth on the talent list. Are there any other pressing details to get into with just the general stuff with the tournament here? Because we're gonna do pick'ems at the end of the show and dive into the groups more.
This is an absolute necessity. We need to name a group of death. There's always a group of death.
Oh, you're right.
Name it.
That is an absolute
we gotta
necessity.
force this storyline that one of these is a group of death.
My vote is for this group, Group A, because whatever group you have being eliminated, like if we'll do the pick'ems later on at the end of the show. Yeah. Whichever teams we have getting eliminated from this group, if they were in another group, you might say that they could make playoffs. Yeah. I mean, Leviathan did pretty well. Who did they beat Exet, and they were close to beating Fnatic, weren't they?
Yeah.
In their game at Copenhagen. They had a good showing.
PRX too.
Yeah, they had a good showing there.
Smoked
and then
Monoscent.
Liquid have been in rare form at the moment. They
Dude,
normally do
I can't-
actually fairly well when
I
they go.
can't wait to talk about Liquid with you later. We got fucking backpedal Barry to my left. I mean, I can't.
No.
Anyway, go on.
We've
Go on.
got above and beyond. I have ascended the mountain of Mauled and become Zen at its peak. But I can descend down the mountain for a while if you want some fucking Liquid.
Hold on,
But I think
to
it's
that
probably
later.
this group because you've got EDG, this crazy dark horse team, Liquid, who normally actually do pretty well whenever they qualify for international tournaments. They're not. They don't get blown out. And then you have PRX. Obviously, Benkai, your team has done fantastically at the previous 2 events, like 4th and then 2nd.
Loves that.
And then, Leviathan, who did well. I just don't see a bad team in this group.
Okay, Benkai, is this the group of death? Is it because PRX are in this group? Is this the group of death?
I mean, I'm looking at Group B and D, and I feel like those 2 groups are in like high contention to be group of deaths as well.
Group B has the top 3 teams from Reykjavik.
B's looking dangerous.
Yeah.
That is looking dangerous.
How high would you rate Boom? I mean, I assume that you guys have played against them at least a couple of times.
If they practice, I mean, if they show up like how they do in scrims, I feel like they're gonna give Optic like a close fight, but maybe they're not ready to actually beat them yet.
Right. Yeah, I feel like they are the food for the group of death. If Group B is in fact the group of death, then Boom Esports have been cast out like a snack, which is sad. Like, hello, welcome to international competition. You're playing against Optic Loud Zeta.
Yeah. God, I am so curious to see where Zeta and Loud end up, though, in regards to just, I suppose, how well they're playing, given they both had a crazy run at the start of the year. That might be the group of death, but let's keep going. We got Group C. I don't think that's just not the group of death, right?
No.
That's simply not the group of death. Though it will be it'll be interesting to see if XSET level up from the first performance, given the second place NA narrative that's being fucking hammered into the ground. And then, we'll see if KRÜ were pretty good at Copenhagen, so they might have a good run. But
it's not the group of death, though.
Not the group of death. Interesting group, though. Honestly, I am interested in that.
Yeah,
but not the group of death. And then Group D: DRX, Furia, Fnatic, and 100 Thieves.
I'm not seeing the group of death here either, in my opinion.
I don't know.
But I
think it can be a little bit deadly.
I feel like there is a significant deadly aspect to this group in which the level, I feel like the level is pretty even. It might not have the heaviest hitters, but I think it's got a lot of teams that are going to be around the same level. You know what I mean?
I feel like Furia is like a solid. I don't know if I'm buying that. I'm not going to say this is a group of death, but like, I think DRX and Fnatic will be interesting. DRX always makes it out of groups. I think there's a good chance they don't here. 100 Thieves actually looked really good in the LCQ, and Furia is like a solid like upset team. But I still think B is definitely the deathiest of all groups of deaths.
But,
I mean, you have the top 3 from Masters 1.
Group D is literally the same group that we had DRX and Fnatic in last Champions. You've got DRX, Fnatic, then you've got the LCQ North American team, and another team that's going to, looked good in their region that probably isn't going to turn up. It's the same group. And last time it was, Fnatic Cloud9 that made it out. This time, I don't know. I would still expect Fnatic DRX to make it out, but maybe 100 Thieves goes on a bit of a heater.
Yeah,
it just feels like the same story again.
We'll dive into some of the teams more in depth as we go on. Just a bit of the overview.
Kermit's got bedroom eyes. He's just staring at me.
Starge. Okay. Also, we should probably talk about it while we're on this topic really quick. We should talk about the co-stream because people are going to ask. So we'll try to TLDR it. But we were unable to do co-stream this time, but for good reasons. Good reasons. Do you want to talk about it, Kurt?
I don't know if I can. I'm assuming I can. Yeah, I got hired by Wyatt to work at Istanbul. So I'm gonna be there.
Yes.
Poggers!
which is pretty huge and pretty Pog champion. So
Yay!
with that being the case, and obviously with so many people working the event, and then it's just not something that we're going to be able to do this time. So that is the long and the short of it.
However, the format this time has some off days during the middle. It's such a long tournament. It starts on like August 31st, runs for nearly 20 days or something.
Yeah.
So not all of those days are broadcast days. It does have days off in the middle. I assume that they've released the some of the schedule at least too. So we will have some days where we're going to be able to record shows, I think. So that we should still have the podcast, I think, coming out during that time. We have the time to do it.
Mimi's awesome roommate Ito is going to be taking over Plat Chat as far as production goes for that time.
We're giving him full. We're giving him full rights to the company. He's going to own it.
Yeah, I'm
20
giving him
days.
all the details to everything, including our treasury account and all that stuff. So
He bought Mr. X out of the company.
Yeah.
His multi-million-dollar shares.
crazy moves behind the scenes. But also, Wyatt will have permission to co-stream the event, so you guys can go to Wyatt's
hopefully.
stream.
Hopefully.
No,
Hopefully.
we're making it happen. It's official. We set it on Plat Chat.
Congrats, Wyatt.
That doesn't-
Happy for
sure.
you.
We'll see. If I can, I'll do it. All right. Let's talk about franchising, because there was a whole lot of news with that this week that came out about Tier 2. Much awaited. I mean, there was a lot of talk about the Tier 2 scene because people were very concerned of the Valorant franchise league going the way of other franchise leagues, such as Overwatch, probably being a direct comparison given recent Overwatch events of, I mean, for people who are not completely familiar, there's the league is kind of crumbling, and there's a lot of financial struggles occurring. The Tier 2 scene in that game has been struggling for a very long time.
Essentially non-existent.
Because it does, I mean, I could talk about my own experience in that, because I actually, for a brief period of time, I had a team in the Overwatch contenders scene with my org, and it was just simply not a good situation, because there was just no actual system or really good infrastructure from the overarching Overwatch league and how to integrate that. So that was a primary concern of a ton of people. And so the plans for the Tier 2 scene from Riot have been, released. At least, I'm sure some things may change as time goes on, but this is going to be the general format. So, and also I saw somewhere there's kind of going to be, I'm not sure exactly how they're going to integrate it, but in one of these pyramids, it started with like the in-game competitive. Yeah. So, maybe perhaps as like the in-game tournament system is added, that will be integrated in some ways.
They actually have detailed some of of how that's going to be integrated.
Oh, have they?
They said that there's going to be an in-game tournament system, and the best teams from the in-game tournament system are going to play promotion relegation matches against the worst team in Challengers. So the worst teams out of Challengers are going to actively have to defend their spots against the upcoming teams. So I imagine all of the open qualifiers are going to be run through the in-game tournament system. Is how I would expect that to work.
Right. Well, that's awesome.
That's fucking sick.
I mean,
because also that indicates
awesome,
that they're putting massive resources into building this
Here we go.
in-game competitive system. And if this in-game tournament system is good, and it's good enough to use in VCT, that means it'll definitely be good enough for us to just dick around it. And for most people, that's what they're concerned about, is like, can I have fun playing in this? And if it's good enough for them to use in VCT, probably is the answer.
Man, that is, I just saw this like an in-game experience that seamlessly connects the VCT with Valorant. I just saw that and I didn't realize there was actually details. I thought it was just...
One of the paragraphs said that they'll play
cool.
qualification matches against the bottom teams in Challengers.
That's awesome. Yeah, so then up into Challengers is sort of being compared to like how the VRL system operates right now.
I mean, for North America, it will just be Challengers, because like VRL, it's like in Europe, it's split up by like country, and it's these really small leagues. But for North America, it's going to be literally just one Challengers league.
Yeah.
So it'll be like a unified Tier 2 for NA. And then I think like, so for us in the Americas, it'll be like an international league, and we'll have South America and Brazil involved. I think there's a like a LATAM North, LATAM South, and then a Brazil Challengers down there, and then there's up in North America, there's the Giga Challengers for all of NA.
Yeah.
Yeah, Giga Challengers. That's what they're going to call it, actually. That's the brand thing.
And then what's awesome about the Challengers League is that the winner of that just gets promoted to the what's being called the International League here. But yeah, the main franchise league. So the winner of that will be promoted for 2 years.
Yeah.
Is as it stands, which is a little funky. I suppose we'll see how that ends up panning out, because it reads that they'll be in it for 2 years and then just automatically demoted back to Challengers.
You get automatically relegated back down.
Even if they're winning?
Even if you're winning.
Which is just kind of...
But what will happen there is that if the roster's still winning, the roster will become free agents at the end of that, because no one would ever sign a contract past that point at which you're being represented by the org. And then the players would just get picked up by a different franchised org. So the players, if they're good, will continue to stay in the league, but the org itself won't. But the org will have also benefited from, you know, multiple years of 600k stipends, multiple years of revenue share for stuff like skins, gun buddies, relocation support, the fact that your org is legitimized, you'll have massive sponsorship opportunities because you're part of a tier 1 esport. It's like huge amounts of value for an org being in it, even though it's only 2 years. 2 years is a long time in esports.
Remember, Valorant esports has only existed for like 2 years. And people are like, whoa, this is going to be like a crazy short amount of time. I also think it's reasonable that teams do get demoted, because I think it's less about Riot wanting to get rid of the players and more about not wanting to have like orgs that they have to work with, right? Like, I think Riot likes having control. So I imagine it's like, okay, we want the option to be able to like not always be involved with these same organizations. I think if players are good and if teams are good, they'll either just get chomped up by another organization, or their team will get ripped to shreds and everyone will get picked up, which is a little sad. It would be nice if they could like stay forever, if there was like a proper promotion relegation. But I think it's a solid in between, because it means like the tier 1 orgs that are applying to be a part of this system don't have to be afraid that like, oh, we're going to get obliterated if some random team comes up. It means it'll be worthwhile for them to actually invest in like team houses and putting effort into the content and like putting all this like work in to make things happen, especially since they like don't really have to pay things besides player salary and they're getting a big stipend from Riot. Like it feels like a pretty solid in between to me.
Yeah, for sure. Benkai, what's your general feel on the franchise announcement? Is there a sense of relief?
If I say that I'm relieved, I would be saying that I'm assuming I'm going to be in the T2 scene. which right now, fingers crossed, I get into like the tier 1 franchising league, right? So that's the goal for us. But at the same time, it's a huge relief to see that Riot isn't just throwing all of these T2 teams under the bus, right?
Yeah, I think for APAC in particular. For APAC in particular, there were concerns that like the way that the groups are distributed, they wouldn't get, you know, a solid representation from each of the smaller communities that make up APAC. But with this, you probably will. It'll go some way to mitigate that, especially because they're planning to expand it up to 42 teams, which is 14 from each region. So by the time you get to 2027, and of course things could change in the next 5 years, but this is their game plan. By the time you get to 2027, there's 14 teams per international league. And those 4 extra teams are being constantly rotated, you know, not every year, but there's going to be fresh faces every year as like half come in, half come out. And I think that's cool. I think you're going to see player turnover in a way that doesn't just feel like teams are exploding every year, but you're also going to see, it feels like, to your point as to the Overwatch scene, if I imagine myself in an org's position, this is worth investing for. This reward is worth investing to try and acquire, because it could make the difference. I was talking to my stream yesterday when I was talking through this announcement, and someone brought up Sentinels as the perfect example. They really weren't a big organization at the beginning of Valorant. They got, you know, their team together that started winning tournaments and looking really good. 2 years later, they've absolutely exploded. The difference between Sentinels 2 years ago and now, it's a complete different organization. I mean, it's not from a structural point of view, but it is from how people perceive it, the sponsorships that they're getting, the views that they're getting, the revenue I'm sure that they're getting in as well. So that 2 years can just change the course of an org completely. And that feels like it'll be worth investing in, which means that the players will actually have salaries rather than just playing for £2.50 and a packet of crisps in tier 2.
Yeah, I mean, this is Yeah, I mean, it can't be understated how important this is for the life of the game and its longevity, and also just the creation of intrigue for the tier 2 scene. Seeing who will actually be promoted each season is very valuable in itself. It actually makes watching those games and paying attention to that scene more valuable and more interesting, as there's so much more on the line for the players, for the organizations that are involved. Because I mean, what you're saying, that could be the difference maker for an organization versus other tier 2 scenes where there's actually incentive in this system for teams to perform well in tier 2 and stick together, which in other franchise systems it's every fucking person for themselves. You just want to be the best. That was one of the main problems I was facing, was like everybody was just the only hope in some other systems like the Overwatch one where I get picked up by a team and I get into OWL. But there's no way that this whole team is going to. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But there's actually a reason for players and teams to stick together, Like a team like Ghost could look at this and feel like it's actually okay. Like we could play challengers. We can keep pretty much our same roster that those guys have been playing together for so long. I'm sure a core of that team want to stick together through thick and thin, and that's the kind of team that, we could actually play in this and we could just qualify because we're good.
Yeah.
And you don't need to just see all these rosters that people like explode.
There was also
explode.
There was a Washington Post article that mentioned that there will be measures in place to stop teams poaching once they actually get qualified through. So a tier 2 team that wins Ascension can't just be ripped apart as it qualifies.
Awesome.
And I assume that will also mean that you need a certain amount of your players to maybe keep the spot, although that would be weird.
That makes me think that maybe it's probably tied to players and not to the organization.
It's
if
not.
They make it in.
I talked to the person in charge of the announcement, and he did say that it was tied to the org.
Okay.
And didn't give me any specifics on like the player safeguarding stuff, but they said that there will be safeguards in place. It's just that the details of that really need to be fleshed out, I think, a little bit. And maybe people have the details behind the scenes, but I doubt it at this point. Also, there's another weird part to this, which is there's no plan in here for China at all. They said again in that Washington Post article that they have no interest in, or currently no current plans in expanding the amount of partner teams. And in the reports, there were no partner teams allocated to China. And yet the game, surely, at some point, is going to be released, right? And there's already a Chinese team playing in Champions. So what the fuck's going on there?
Awkward.
I assume that they'll have their own Challenger League once the game begins, but then never have any partner teams? That would be really odd.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe
but
there's
if you
just
win...
a lot of things just riding on EDG's shoulders right now.
Yeah. The future of Valorant in China rides on EDG. Benkai, for the safety of the game, you need to toss that game. The opening game, you just need to throw it away.
Team,
Guys, make sure you match fix for China. Do it for China.
It's the long-term.
I'm helping the ecosystem, man, in China, so you guys can thank me later.
I mean, it's the only region where people have already been banned for match fixing as well. So, I'm sure you could find people who are interested if you wanted to.
Oh my god,
it's true. It's rampant.
All right, is there anything else? Anything else that needs to be discussed with this release announcement? Is there anything that I'm forgetting?
Well, I just wanted to get Benkai's point of view. There's so many different challenger leagues here for APAC. If you look at North America, it's one challenger league, so everyone's going to be tuning in and watching that. From your point of view, do you think that the Pacific region has been split up in this way for like logistical reasons, like ping, language barriers, stuff like this? Do you see it being helpful or harmful that they kind of don't play together until there's this like Ascension tournament?
I don't really see a world where all of these teams get pretty good practice against each other, especially those regions in, I would say, Korea, Japan, maybe South Asia. These regions are pretty separated from the rest of APAC in terms of getting scrims and getting good ping. So there's going to be like a very huge disparity when the Ascension Leagues come, where you kind of see these teams have these huge gaps with other regions because they just don't get that kind of practice with each other. So I'm not sure how that's gonna benefit everyone to split all of these regions up into so many different ones. But I'm sure it'll work out, you know.
Ever the optimist.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the only region I'm concerned for in regards to Korea. Help. Someone, Achilleos, paper thin, someone do something. Help.
This LCQ was like
they need help.
For fucking Korea. Just as you actually, Unslayers managed to recover it a little bit.
They did recover a little bit, but
it looked for a moment like, oh, it was just, oh, Korea's dead. Oh no.
Somebody
like
save
it's
me.
just a culture thing in Korea. Like personally, I think because all of these teams like Onslayers, Damwon, DRX, they all have these coaches that's from 1.6. So they have this very traditional way of how they think the game should be played. And I feel like in order to move past that barrier, they should maybe like come out of that mindset of being so rigid and maybe have more freedom given to their players. So maybe then we'll actually start seeing the Korean scene really start to boom. I feel like they're just stuck in like all of them are just being put on leashes right now.
Yeah, gotcha. Do we want to, I mean, we were just talking about it. We could just, you want to just talk about
Just
Edward
dive in?
Gaming now?
Yeah, let's
Just
talk
dive in,
Edward.
and then, little switcheroo.
Edward is the
of
Who the
topic
fuck is
list.
Edward?
But yeah, let's talk about,
Has anyone found out?
Edward. Let's talk about the APAC LCQ.
Do you know who Edward actually is, Mimi?
No, I have no fucking clue. I've been watching all their VODs. I've been trying to figure it out. I still do not know who Edward is.
I think Edward is like the billionaire owner of the org or something, isn't it? Maybe I'm misinterpreting what other people
He's
have
just
told
like
me.
some like Chinese like Borpa business like multi-millionaire who just like, yes, it's time to invest in Chinese Valorant.
Yeah, but
He just named the. Is that what happened? And he named the org after himself. He
It's
just-
kind of a
this
power
is
move.
this is
named it after-
this is
that
deep
true?
lore that I've always just assumed is true and never double checked. So
I also
maybe I
love
should
that they're-
actually do this
Wait,
before I get
whoa.
accused of
guys,
libel.
I just got the best news of my life. Edward Gaming follows me on Twitter. Holy fuck. This is awesome.
What
This is
was that
awesome.
Wikipedia article? Where's the name come from? History
they've been around for a
2014.
long
Here we go. Where are we? Whoa. This is just talking about them in LPL and stuff. A professional esports organization. Does it say on the right-hand side, like where the ownership group is from or something? Divisions founded September. Dude, where's Edward? Edward is hidden. He's a secret billionaire.
shadowy figurehead.
Maybe he's one of the players, and he's just like, you know how sometimes there's like secret boss or whatever the TV show is called, where the boss comes down and plays with the working class. You know, maybe it's like that, where it's a
Undercover
billionaire
boss?
that was actually so gifted at gaming but they didn't want to be treated differently just because they were rich. So they've ground their way up through the slums of just ranked, and they've got their way to the top and named the org after themselves.
And now they're going to champions.
Yeah. In fact, it would make perfect sense in that situation. They've named themselves Nobody because that's what they're trying to become.
Oh my
They started
God.
as a somebody and now they're trying to be a nobody.
I can't wait until there's going to be dude. They can't let Doug cast that game. There's going to be so many nobody related name jokes. I'm not going to be able to.
Who can stop this guy? Nobody.
It's going to be awful.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
We have to put a hard lock on people making nobody jokes when they're casting Edward
Casters are
Gaming.
banned from doing life with the 1v2 Red Bull clutch. That's just life.
Oh my God.
He's like a spiritual presence. That's why they call him Nobody.
Oh my, dude, that's awful.
I mean,
Oh my God.
I'm trying
Not
to come
even
up with the
Van
word.
Silly would. Not even
QQ
Van
will get the
Silly would have said that.
WW for Edward Gaming.
Dude, okay. Mimi, you're a big Edward gamer. What should their expectations be for this event? Or what are your expectations for them?
Do you want me to spout some
Both,
copium or be real
either.
with you?
Both.
No, I want you to be honest with me.
All right, I'm gonna give you a little bit of both. I'll start with some dishonest expectation setting, and then I'll get honest. First of all, the dishonesty. Fucking these, it's honesty in a way. They actually have some really fucking good players. Kong is fucking insane. Everyone's always talking about Korean Jet this, Korean Jet this. They always forget the Chinese Chamber, who is just absolutely absurd at the video game. Their coordination is really nice. They play, I think, pretty similarly to how PRX play, where it's just like they're playing like these double dive comps. They're super aggressive. A lot of teams, especially like you were saying, Benkai, the Korean teams kind of get stuck in their own way and don't really know how to play against them. On the other side, they fucking overheat like no other team I have ever seen in my life. The amount of dry swings through smokes, the amount of just wild peaks in man advantage situations to almost throw rounds away, the amount of just weird, like crazy moments where it's just like someone's swinging and the coordination isn't there. It's just the duality of man. This team will give you an awesome, well put together execute that's like well called, and their players are popping off. And then in the very same vein, in the same round, 3 people will swing through smokes and just die from nothing. It is like this weird inconsistency where I don't know where to place them, because they could like show us the amazing side and be great at champions, or they could just hyper troll and lose in the first round. I see both as like equal possibilities.
You know what they remind me of? They kind of remind me of watching PRX play at Berlin last year.
Yeah.
But it's also, it feels like they kind of have 5 Forsakens, where back at Berlin, it felt like Forsaken was lacking the discipline and that he currently has, and the support from, I mean, yourself, Benkai, and the rest of the squad. Felt like you've really tightened that element up. But for EDG, they have 5 playmakers on the team, and they're all so talented. It's a very well spread out roster where the weakest player is still a very good fragger. But they all have the ability to make plays and overheat. So they'll all give you, round wins off the back of a 3K or something that they've managed to cook up. But they'll also sometimes all have that tendency to overheat. Whereas I feel like at the moment, most teams have, a couple of players that are allowed to make those plays. And then, 2-3 players that are always making the percentage move. Do you, when you watch this team, do you see any glimmers of your old selves, Benkai, or is that just us from the outside?
I definitely do see like a sense of us in Berlin in terms of it being a bit unrefined. But I feel like it being their first event is still going to be like those first event jitters, that everybody has it. And I honestly can say it go either way, if they play with like that max full confidence, I really couldn't see them taking it all the way to the end. Maybe that's with a little sprinkle of hopium there. but yeah, Ever Gaming, like I've been watching them the entire LCQ, and I feel like they really can be a top contender given given the right circumstances.
The group they're in as well is absurd, because they have teams that are gonna duel them constantly. They're not actually playing. There's no team in the group that plays like the EMEA, hold the angles, try to punish them. There's no FPX in this group, no Zeta Division, no Loud, no Fnatic. There's none of those teams. Instead, you've got PRX. I mean, you guys are mental and love to, Forsaken and Jing are going to love taking duels. Liquid, you got Scream and Yampy, who are definitely going to try and aim diff these guys, and win or lose are going to just fall into the chaos. And then you have Leviathan, who I don't know as much how they're going to play. It's less duelist heavy for sure, but when they were playing their triple initiator comps, they were still wide swinging, taking fights, very decisive, very aggressive. I feel like this is an absolute chaos group where Edward Gaming is going to get the games that they want. I mean, it's just going to be the style.
Do you think those are good matchups for them?
I've no idea. I feel like those are matchups where they're going to be very duel heavy, which is probably good for Edward Gaming, but I think it's also going to be matchups where they're tempted to overheat like crazy, and all the other teams in their group have more experience than them.
Yeah.
I have no idea where the firepower is going to end up, though. I think, I feel like maybe Leviathan will get outpowered, but as for the other two teams, I don't have a clue. I would expect PRX and Liquid to be at least on their level in terms of the firepower. But EDG's worst players are still cracked. I mean, like, Haodong's probably their worst aimer, and he's good.
Yeah. Where are your expectations placed then, Josh? What do you think is the most likely outcome?
The most likely...
Can they get out of this? Like, how... Yeah, get out of the group. What are you thinking?
I think the most likely outcome is that they either put up some crazy games that everyone loves, but unfortunately just miss out in the decider match, or they get first round elimed once they get to the playoffs. I think those are the most likely outcomes. Because they're a good team, but like Benkai said, it's their first tournament where they're playing internationally. But they play with so much confidence in these games, and really this is their first international showing, right, at LCQ. And they played like they just were playing against inferior competition. I mean, you look at the way that you're watching them play in LCQ, and Kang hits like a 3K and turns to the person recording the vlog for his org and is like, you know, whoa, what's up? He's not celebrating to celebrate. He's celebrating as if it's
He's got
like,
the content brain.
yeah, he's just got content brain
He's got
on.
the content
You
brain.
can't have content brain if you're actually stressed out about the match that you're playing. But he's
Right.
so chilled out that he like just styles on his opponent and turns around and he's like, yeah, that one's going in the vlog. It's fucking crazy. Like, these guys are not going to be scared at champs until they get smacked. And maybe that'll happen in round one. And maybe that'll mean a very different trajectory for EDG. But I think if they can hold their own against PRX, then they're probably still going to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that for this team, like, I think the style of the other teams in their groups might actually match up pretty well against them, because so many of the teams they were playing in like East Asia are like that style that is similar to them, of just like the like really leaning into the aggression. Like Onslayers in particular, I felt like in the especially that grand final was like really playing up to the pace that Edward Gaming was showing, and was like willing to take those duels and be really, really fast about it. And Edward was still pretty much just decimating them in that way. I think that it's a lot higher tier competition when we head internationally. I think especially with PRX and with Liquid, but I don't know. I just want to believe. I just want to believe. The story is so cool. Like, it's the first ever Chinese team. It's their big opportunity at like champions nonetheless, and they've been fucking dominating. Like, I feel like it would take something big to like actually like shake their confidence.
Look at this round, right? They have such a great exec into the site. Huge amounts of utility. Life just overheats, pushes into spawn.
By the way, 12-11.
This round, I think they have like way more of these things happening. Or maybe that's a different round that they have on Haven. They had a round like that where Life pushed forwards, and then there was a player pushed solo garage, and then there was another player pushed CT as well. And eventually, the player that like was the third one to make a solo play killed two players, and they won the round. But it's barbaric watching this
I think
team.
I know what round you're talking about. Kurt, can you show round 13 from this game? That's the one I have written down as just hyper overheat from EDG on the pistol, if I recall. Like, it's just one of those moments where they just like set themselves up and they like show you a really nice exec and then just like gamble it all away.
I also don't think that EDG's Haven is very good. I've been watching them.
No,
I don't
they
think
play
that
jet fade. Crazy.
Yeah, well, their defense side rotates don't look that great. The positioning that they play when they anchor sites seems very, like, a lot of the time they're extremely far forward. When they're rotating on the attack side, they tend to group up and stomp around the map, which means that if anyone's like gone for an info push, they just hear exactly where the rotates happen. These small things, I think are going to end up making Haven not a great map for them on the international level. Their bind doesn't look incredible either. And so you end up being in a situation where who the fuck knows who's going to be good at Pearl, but they're good on like, I think it's like Ascent, Icebox, Breeze, and Fracture. So they have like 4 maps where they're looking pretty decent. Might be enough.
Yeah, I forgot about the existence of Pearl. Are you? What is your feeling on Pearl? Have you been able to scrim it a bit, Benkai?
We've began scrimming it already. We did a lot of theory work on it, and it just feels a bit like Split to PRX. Like, we just think the map plays a lot like Split in terms of like rotations and stuff. But personally, I think the B side needs a bit of reworking. because once you get that bomb down, it's just impossible to retake that bomb site, man. Especially if they play just far away.
Mm-hmm.
It's near impossible to retake that bomb site. So maybe just a little bit of reworking that would be nice. But I think it's a pretty balanced map. Yep, all things considered.
What do you expect teams to run on that map?
What's right?
Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead.
No. What question did you ask?
Oh, I was just saying, like, what do you expect teams to run on that map? Like, what are your thoughts on what do you think is going to be there? Because like I was looking at it and I'm thinking like I think Fade Raze is still going to be good. Astra is probably going to be pretty solid on this map in a lot of comps. Like, what were
People
you?
are playing a lot
thinking?
of Viper as well, at least in like the ranked stuff that I've seen. But yeah, I'm not too convinced on it myself.
I think Fade is 100% must need. Just because it's so good at just clearing all these tight corners, especially on Pearl. It's full of tight corners. Other than that, I really don't see any other Aegis that's like a must pick, you know? Like you can literally run anything on that map. But I'm seeing a bit more Vipers more often. Like it's just mainly Vipers and Fades that's 100% pick most of the time right now from what I've seen in scrims.
Yeah. I think it'd be a cool map to run Fade KO on as well. There seems to be a lot of opportunity for getting value out of KO with the nade, the pop flashes around some of these corners, and then the knife for a lot of the close positions as well. It seems decent.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't expect Edward Gaming to win the LCQ, but they actually went and won every single map.
I don't want to hang up. I don't want to get hung up on this, but I didn't expect a lot of things to happen like that in there. Right? I was hoping for a little bit more from the lads on North Eption.
Yeah,
not to get
the game against North Eption. Again, I feel like this game though convinced me to some degree that not only are they like a really good team, I think Edward Gaming are a very good team, and I expected this game to be close, but they just kind of they ran over everyone who wasn't Meteor. It felt like in these games, those two maps, it was only Meteor that was able to punish them for taking bad duels. And we know how good of a player Meteor is, and he showed that when he played on the international stage as well. But the other players were like decent. The other players were pretty good, but they got kind of run over and turned to mulch just by the confident swings and trades that are coming out from EDG. So I think I have some level of confidence that that's going to translate to the global stage as well. For teams that don't have fragging power all across the board, they're going to struggle against that crazy aggression.
But goddamn, their group. I'm starting to think Group A might be the group of death.
That's what I'm telling you.
I'm starting to think it might be Group A. I was Group B. That's the layman's group of death. Group A is the real intellect's group of death.
I think we should rephrase it. I think Group A is just the group of joy. It's just going to be some good, honest matchups around teams that just like to fight and just go crazy. Like, there's going to be so much joy in that group.
Group A is the group of little death. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to 100 Thieves. They qualified in the NALCQ. High hopes, low hopes, medium hopes. What is the level of hope?
Goldilocks hope. I've got the exact right amount of hope.
How much hope is there for a solid performance in them internationally? We looked at the group earlier. They're in Group D. They've got the last year champion type group where they got DRX, they got Fnatic, and they have Furia.
I want to start by just accepting that the actual hope, I'm not saying for us four, but the hope for like people is through the fucking roof. It's through the roof. If you look at there was a post on the Valorant competitive subreddit that was going through the opening odds for champions, which is something that I like to look at the beginning. You know, it's just interesting to see where the people that control that kind of stuff think that people are that either think that people are going to bet on them or think where they're actually going to end up. 100 Thieves is like a top 5 team that they've rated. It's something like that. It's absurd. They put them at like 8-1 to win the whole thing. Really? It was actually monstrous. So if you just looked at the bookmakers, 100 Thieves are crazy overrated in my opinion, because there's just I just don't possibly see that happening.
A win is asking a lot.
That's
a win
asking
is
a
asking
lot.
a lot. But I believe in a good, solid, honest American run. But I can't.
Do you know what the most honest American run is? The most honest American run is a 0-2 at this point.
No, it's a 0-2 if you came in first and you're in the playoffs.
Okay,
that's the American. That's the American run.
That's the American dream right there.
They could do the Cloud9 run.
Yeah,
they could make it to the top 8 and
bomb out,
lose. That's not bombing out. That's not bombing out. That's a good result.
It is.
That's a respectable
result. That's an
result.
honest American run,
which I think is achievable. But we could touch on briefly just their actual run in the LCQ because they fucking turned up in the second week.
I said last week on the episode that to keep in mind we'd only seen half of LCQ. Well, we were having a discussion about the level doesn't seem that great, like nobody's really turned up. But the second week of LCQ is where you remember those storylines of like Liquid going on their run last year and this year actually, and Cloud9 going on their run last year. And I feel like you had simultaneous explosions from the Garden 100 Thieves here. We all had FaZe being the favorites, and Garden 100 Thieves just smoked them. 2-0 and a 3-0. FaZe just fell over.
FaZe looked great in that first week too, but Garden 100 Thieves really turned up. Will had a series of great games. So did Bang as well. I think both
played
of them
fantastically in the first game. His second game actually didn't do too much.
Both of them were contributing more though, and I think.
But I mean, Derek and Asuna to me is the big story with 100 Thieves because Asuna looked like the best player of the tournament, where he didn't in the first week, but he looked just like the best in the second. And Derek had the best clutch performance in the tournament of all time, I think. He didn't quite overtake Shao, but he had way less rounds, so he clutched more per round than I've ever seen a player do. Yeah,
the Asuna flex, having him on KO on more maps has been pretty sick. I like the neon switch on Fracture. I just like a lot of the comps that they're running right now. I like how they've adjusted Stellar to playing a lot of the Sage and playing a bit of the KO as well. I think that's worked. I think they've made some good decisions in regard to that stuff. What was your takeaway from watching 100 Thieves, Benkai? How are you feeling about their chances? How are you rating them?
At the start of their LCQ, I thought they looked pretty shaky when they fought FaZe. And then they had to, I'll never forgive them for this, they had to go and beat Shroud to make their run all the way through. I love Sean Garris, he's my daddy, but they beat Shroud and I took that personally. But they look pretty good. They look like way better towards the end, comparing 100 Thieves to what they were at the start of the year and before Sean joined. I think he really made them he brought his vision to 100 Thieves really well and he translated over. Even though it took a bit of time, I think Sean managed to build that kind of vision that he had in terms of their agent comps and their performance and their flexibility in roles. Like you see Asuna start playing a lot more other agents compared to what he used to play in the past. I think Sean is doing a really, really good job with how he's improved the team structurally.
Okay, Mimi, you need to stop flicking the butterfly knife around like the spy from TF2. Yeah, you're going to slice your own fingers off.
It's not sharp. It's not sharp. I'm a professional.
Psycho behavior.
Is that a Valorant knife?
I mean, what? You're about to carve a smile into your face. I can just see I can see the fucking Mimi Joker Dark Knight arc in real time.
She's gonna make a belt out of our nipples.
Excuse me?
That's
something he did?
Some American serial killer did that, didn't they? They made a belt out of nipples.
That's crazy.
All right, let's talk about 100 Thieves.
Yeah, so fun. No,
Anyway.
I'm talking about the butterfly knife. Fun fact, I actually broke one of Kieran's monitors with this, with Ito, the guy we were just talking about being the new producer for Plat. I was just walking into his room to talk about something with him, and I just fucking smashed this into his monitor. I had to buy him a new one. I did that.
Any lessons learned? Looking
no.
for a lesson learned from that situation. No lessons.
No.
That's fine.
I learned no lessons. But on the other hand, 100 Thieves, they learned a lot of lessons in their run in the LC.
Great segue. Great segue.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the second week they just came alight. I was kind of comparing them to like the run that like FPX made, and like they just like literally played every fucking day and just still took the time to like go back and put in like some insane elements of prep. Like I think in that game versus FaZe was just falling back into so many of their same tendencies, and 100 Thieves just knew what was up. Like they were just so ready for everything. The pivots they made in their style was really cool. I think that in particular, once we got to this final as well, like Guard was not looking that bad. Like the players that needed to turn up did, and I think that like 100 Thieves was just dumpstering. Like they just grabbed the momentum after winning this Icebox game and just dominated those last two maps. Their Fracture looks really good. Being able to switch back and forth between Asna, the Raised, and the Neon and showing those different looks is awesome, and kind of changing how they play their attack off of that. And then once we got down to the wire as well, on that, it was Haven that was the decider there. The Sage comp there too was really cool. I think their Ascent as well improved a ton. It was just like I had such low stocks in them out of week one with the way they were playing. Like that game versus FaZe that they played in week one, I was just dead on 100 Thieves. But I woke up the second week, and they woke up as well, and were just playing absurdly well. To the question of like how well I think they'll do internationally, in their group,
DRX, Fnatic, and Furia.
I see them maybe being able to upset DRX. Like I think they can like. I think it's possible for them to make it out. I think they're a solid upset team. They're good at putting the prep in. They're good at like, they have great individuals. Asna already has experience on LAN. He was such a big part of their run here. If Derek can keep up the clutch, maybe there's a chance. I wouldn't expect it, but certainly there's opportunity for an upset and for maybe like what you were saying, like a Cloud9-esque run.
I think 100 Thieves are so good when they have time and experience to prep against their opponents. And I think part of that is because their coaching staff is world class. I don't think they're going to have that at Champions necessarily. It's been a while since you've seen DRX. They've had time to cook up new stuff. Same thing with Fnatic as well. And they've never played against those teams. They've never played against teams that have that style even. And then you've got Furia too, who I guarantee they haven't played against anybody like Furia because the Brazilian teams are kind of crazy. But you know, they'd still be considered favorites in that matchup. I think over, you know, if they make it through to the playoffs and they're playing against people that they have VOD prep on, I think they'll look better. But getting out of the group requires them to get out of the starting blocks fast. They play against Fnatic, and
they
then
play
it's
against.
Be...
That's the thing, though. I think they can't. I think that's fine that they play against Fnatic first, because that's going to be the toughest team to beat in that group.
Probably, yeah.
You would assume, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. They come in against Fnatic, they lose. That's fine. And then from there, they probably play Furia most likely in the next game. Winnable, though. Furia, I will not doubt Furia at an international event because of, I think, last Champions. They went out in like 2 games, but they were looking fucking good, and they lost to I think it was Sentinels and KRÜ, I want to say, but they played both games super close, and were playing really well. So I don't doubt that they can show up again at an international event and play really well. But okay, let's say 100 Thieves beat them, then they probably match up against DRX if we're just assuming Fnatic win both their games. Surely DRX at some point don't make it through a group stage, right?
Well, they didn't last Champions. They failed to a Champions last time.
Well, yeah, they did actually fail to a Champions because they played against an EU and an NA team.
Yes. Yeah.
So listen, all I'm saying is it's, I think that is a reasonable path for 100 Thieves to get into the top 8 and get out of the groups.
But here's my thing about form, and I'm going to repeat this when we talk about Liquid as well, but I think 100 Thieves are on a really good run of form. And if you compare how, if you compare how their players have been playing all year, you got better than average performances in this final week of LCQ from Will and from Derek in particular, I think. Derek's a great player, but he's not the best clutcher in the world all the time. You can't rely on him to be doing that all the time. And I think that, its stage 2 performance was not anywhere near what he was playing like in LCQ. Yeah. He just went on an incredible run. And I think, if Derek can keep that up, that's fantastic. That's unbelievably good. But I wouldn't expect him to. I would expect that there to be a drop-off there. And I think Will's going to be facing the hardest competition he ever has. He's already towards the bottom of the people playing his role in North America. He's going to be towards the bottom of people in Champions as well. So that worries me. I'm worried that their players are now playing higher levels of competition and won't be in the same outrageous form that they were in.
Sure. Dude, that's about to be fucking Derek outside of Josh's house tonight.
Yeah.
After hearing that, dude, I won't clutch like that again. Okay, buddy.
I mean, he's gonna be a good to great player,
such a good
but not elite.
image.
It is.
That is a great image. Yeah. Also, dude, one last time, we have to cement the Sean pause narrative. It's being cemented. When they took the timeout at 12 rounds on the last map and then won, that just cements the narrative.
Yep.
Even though it was just on an eco and they
rushed
also
A
like
and won. Every time their opponent took a
but it
pause.
cements the narrative.
What
Every time their opponent took a pause, when it was versus FaZe, FaZe would be pausing. And then there was one time where it was like FaZe was off a streak, or actually doing pretty well. I think they won a round. They were like, hey, we're going to pause here. And then Thieves just goes and wins 5 rounds in a row right off of that. Like, it was super consistent. I think I pulled the stat and it was something like across the series versus FaZe, it was like out of 5 tactical timeouts, 100 Thieves won the round directly after in 4 of them. I might be incorrect on that, but it was something ridiculous along those lines.
Yeah. They took a pause actually in the finals against the Guard. They lost the round afterwards and then won the next 6. So it's like their coaching staff is having massive impact. Yeah.
Dude, and also, did you see that Twitter video Sean posted after? He looked fucking weathered. You could tell he was, dude. I mean, I hope he got a good night's sleep because it looked like he'd been working he'd worked the hardest week of his life. He looked like he got off just a 48-hour shift at the factory. I mean, I hope he got some rest.
He's
this was
swaying. He can barely stand up.
Dude, I mean, congratulations. But also, goddamn, I hope they got him a winner's night's sleep. King bed, tons of pillows. Get that man some rest.
I can tell you
he's just been working his ass off.
I can tell you the assistant coach, Mike's, came back from their celebration dinner. He'd had a couple of drinks and just threw our games. He played ranked with us and just threw our games. Just tossed them into the bin. So thanks for that, Mike.
Never recovering that ranked rating.
Yeah.
It's fucked up. All right, let's move on to
Sean
Liquid. Wait.
You think Sean just makes, like, during a tech boss, Sean just makes everybody take a shot of protein powder? And they just go.
That's why Derek's looking so jacked. That's why Derek lost all of his hair, actually. He's been ODing on the protein powder, and it's increased his testosterone and made him bald.
All right, Team Liquid.
Is that why people go bald?
Well, yeah, because I'm just raging with testosterone. Yeah, I'm just the most testosterone-fueled human you'll ever meet in your life. Look at these guns.
Oh my god. Team Liquid.
Team Liquid?
Yeah.
Now, do you want me at my Zen or do you want me at my Maul?
No, here's the thing. I want to address fucking backpedal Barry right here. Because last week on the show, slanderous takes.
Yeah?
Slanderous.
I said I hate watching Liquid.
No, I'm pretty sure. No. You said you hated Liquid.
You said that you wanted them to lose.
Yeah, you wanted them to lose.
I wanted Team Liquid to lose.
Slanderous.
Yep.
From you.
Yep.
Slanderous. And then...
Am I happy they won? Ask me if I'm happy they won.
Are you happy that they won?
No. But do I think... Ask me if they deserve to win.
Josh, did Liquid deserve to win?
Yeah, they fucking did.
Okay.
I hate that they won, but they fucking deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
Wyatt... A deity from on high possessed Scream's body. Thor himself came down onto the battlefield and fucking inhabited Scream's mouse hand. And there was no wrong that this man could do. In the final 3 maps, he was the best I've ever seen him play, and that includes when he was dropping 40 playing Reyna back in 2020, just harvesting noobs.
Harvesting noobs.
I mean, look at his stats. Yampy dropped plus 22, superstar level performance. Scream was a god among men. He was an immortal presence on the battlefield. He went 20 and 13. He was the Grim Reaper personified. He came down from the heavens and dealt death wherever he looked. And mech were just poor fucking avenues of wheat to be harvested. The great scythe came down. It was an absurd performance.
Harvest. I thought mech were kind of looking not bad too. I thought they were doing fine, but it was
the first map. Mech was so good.
You cannot stand before the glory of God.
The Screamix came on Ascent, and he was just running around. The tactics of the Phoenix Ascent, such as Scream, use ult, and get 3 kills, were so strong. They were just so. It was just so good. He just used his ult.
Where's the round?
He ran at them.
Where's the round where Scream is harvesting ult orbs? He's on the attack side. I'm sorry I didn't pick this one out, Kurt. He's on the attack side. He goes towards A main, and I think he gets the ult orb there. And he's running. He's got a sheriff. It's an eco round. He runs back over to B main. Chronicle's pushed up, holding the angle, getting information, and looking towards tiles. It's Chronicle, arguably best player in the world. Chronicle,
great
playing
player.
chamber, set up inside his rendezvous. Chronicle jiggles like he's holding the corner. He just happens to jiggle the wrong way as Scream bunny hops around the corner.
Yep.
And Scream just bunny hopping, just goes
headshot.
Boom.
Yeah,
and just headshots him. Kills Chronicle. The trademark's down in mid. Yampy gets a lurk off. Scream has his ult. It's fucking silly. Yep, here's the round. Here's the silly little round. And this just showcases the kind of shit. I mean, along with that 3K ult he got by just running out on defense out of tiles.
Funny. He just ran out and killed 3 players, the last one through smoke.
Because mech were trying to react push catwalk instead of trying to punish the ult. But yeah, the beginning of this round is going to be a bit dull because Scream is just kind of trying to, farm the orb. But at some point here, Scream just kind of toddles back. You can see him in spawn right now. Look at the absolute whimsy inhabiting Scream's body as he does this. He's just whoopie-doo. Oh, well, let me run with my knife out around the corner. Whoops. Oh, bang. Oh, there you go. And now Scream has his ult, and the ult gets no value. It gets seized and traded, but they actually do manage to kill the person that kills Scream, which is kind of the value of having the Phoenix there, is that they just trade out effectively off the back of his ult. And they win another eco round to put mech in the bed.
A sad end for mech, but do you remember? God, well, I can't remember the round. I should have fucking wrote it down, but I can't remember the round number of that 3K ult. But that is a good clip.
Do you want me to guess?
You can probably
I think it was round
like
7.
3K ult, and you'll get like Tarek reacts to awesome Scream Phoenix gameplay. Top 10 clips of the 2022 VCT LCQ EMEA Grand Final. Scream best player.
He wasn't just doing it when he played Phoenix. He was doing it on the Jet on Breeze. He did it on the Raze on Icebox as well.
Yeah.
All 3 of those maps were legendary top tier performances by Scream, where
Phoenix was just the funniest.
He just couldn't miss.
Yeah.
He
was just in God form. But that's just liquid. It's just Team Liquid. They have the miracle juice. Just when they're down and out, or when they're on the edge of qualification, when there's the important game, somehow 90% of the time they just manage to win the right game at the right time and qualify for another event. How many events have they been at now? Quite a few. I mean, it doesn't.
They're at the original Reykjavik, then they came back to champions.
They've been
I think it was their third.
Several.
No, I think it's their 4th, because they did also qualify for Iceland earlier this year. Because FPX couldn't make it. And honestly,
they make 2 events even when they don't qualify.
I know.
These guys are fucking crazy. They're so good at making it to the events. It's unbelievable.
Also, Dimasic looks like a good pickup for the team. I wasn't sure exactly how he would be integrated, but he looks fairly decent. They've kind of got him just playing the fill role right now. I'm not sure about the Sova pick, but just generally his team play has fit in quite nicely. It still annoys me, though, because I don't think we're going to get that same level of form out of Scream and Yampy necessarily at Champions. You know, that was like, Scream is capable of those heights, but he doesn't pull them out every game, you know? You normally get a more normal, great performance out of Scream, not a actual god performance. So I think they're just going to do the same kind of thing that they did.
God.
Yeah, I think they're going to do the same kind of
it's
thing
just
that they
gross.
did.
It's filthy. Ugh, that shot was disgusting.
I think they're going to
How
do what they
do
did
that?
this Iceland, where they look pretty damn good, but they don't go deep. But I think they're probably the best dark horse team that you have. The team no one's really paying that much attention to, but could go far. Like another semis performance. They could do something like that.
Benkai, do you fear them?
I just think it's unfair that they pretty much have two coaches. Because their coach Emil, he's the twin brother of Doom Bros on FPX.
Yeah.
How's that fair?
It's like the twin neural link. They're making strats together through just the mind, their combined mind power. They're communicating through the womb, even though they've exited.
That was
Yeah, it's like at any time.
So the
they could just switch one
communication
of them
pathway
out.
has to go back through their mother's ovaries. Why?
It's like a satellite. When you have like two phones that can't go directly to each other, they have to beam up to the satellite and then go down on both sides.
Oh, okay,
The high
okay.
plane.
That was that act. I remember. I remember
Angel
meeting.
mid sneeze.
I mean, it was also because we had a couple bevies at that point, but I remember meeting Emil at the event.
Was he there?
Yeah.
I don't think I met
And
Emil, unless I met
he
him
said-
and thought he was Doom Bros.
And he, yeah, because he said, he's like, hey, hey, nice to meet you. I was like, wait, I already met you. Dude, I already, and then he was like, oh, Emil. I was like, oh. Interesting. You look a lot like Doom Bros. Very interesting.
Our CGO, Harley, like he was at the after party as well, and that's where he met Emil. And Emil came up to him and he was like, do you know I was twin brother of Doom Bros on FPX? And then like so Harley just went, you're a very funny man, yes. Then he just walked away from him. He didn't believe him.
Oh my God.
That's so good. That's so good. He just assumes he's being trolled.
Oh my God.
That would be, dude. Do you think esports will ever get to the level? Right, they haven't announced the prize pool yet for champs. If the prize pool is like 10 million for champs, Emil realizes that Liquid don't have too much for chance. They're going up against FPX in the next game. FPX just won the previous Masters. Emil manages to slip in using his brother's clothes into the FPX coaching room. And the FPX guys are like, what do we do next, coach? And he just gets in there like the imposter from Among Us and just feeds them all the fucking bad strats. He's like, guys, pistol round. You all need to hide inside the smoke at top C. They're like, Doom Bros, you never tell us to do that. And he's like, I've had an epiphany, believe me. Like, wow. Doom Bros comes back from the toilets and is like, Coach, are you sure about that plan? Doom Bros is like, yeah, I'm sure.
Dude, if they have
This is what's going to happen.
that'll actually be so. God, it'll be so funny if they play each other and they do the walkout and fist bump. That'll be.
It's just like a mirror in the middle of the...
good.
God, that would be amazing.
They'll look almost as similar as you and Durka. Almost
It'll
as
be pretty
similar
close.
as that image. Not quite, but almost. I have some hope for this. I just find myself always believing in Liquid because I think they're miracle workers. They they just have some kind of miraculous quality that allows them to succeed. And so I will just never stop believing, no matter what the circumstance. I
think
can't stop believing.
I think they have made a deal with some kind of god or devil. And the deal is that they turn up to international events a lot, but they can just never get it together to win the trophy. Because when you look at this team, they actually should have the quality to be able to win a trophy. That's what I hate about Liquid. That is where my hate stems from, is that actually this team should already have won something. Like this team, and I don't mean this exact 5-man roster, it's only been together for like a couple of weeks, but
They did
the
win
actual
the Red
team
Bull
of Liquid
thing.
Yeah, they won Red Bull home ground.
What? They did.
Yeah, okay.
A
But
great run.
I mean something meaningful,
Okay.
something important. I suppose they actually were the top team coming out of EMEA at the very beginning. Like
They
before
won the
Reykjavik
EMEA
as well.
LCQ in 2021. They won the EMEA LCQ in 2022.
But I mean, lifting a trophy. I mean, winning a Masters
international
tournament.
event.
I think that they
Yeah.
are of the quality and have been to be able to do it if they got their shit together and come up with good game plans. But they just make such outrageous mistakes at times, or have such horrible game plans on their executes.
Yeah.
And then they just bail themselves out with insane plays. That they're one of the most frustrating teams to watch because you know they're capable of so much. I think they can make a run, but they're, in my opinion, in the group of death. But I think they're part of the reason why it's a group of death.
Yeah, I agree. Do
Do you expect to play them in that second round game, Benkai? Would you consider them the favorites to be, making it up to there?
I would. Yeah, I think they're of that caliber. Maybe they're just good. They have like good matchups against people with similar playstyles as them. So I'm not sure how they're gonna match up against all the other teams in our group. Because I think everybody else just plays a bit differently. But I'm pretty sure Yumpy and Scream are gonna be more than happy to take those duels. So it's just gonna boil down to who's gonna be hitting their shots on that day.
That's
It's
the most
just what
frustrating
this
thing about
entire
Liquid.
group is. Yeah.
What do you mean? That's good, honest Valorant. Josh.
Good-
A Phoenix and who's hitting shots.
Good honest Valorant
That's
is
what I like to
waking
see.
up and just praying you're in form. Is that good honest Valorant?
10
Yeah.
hours of aim labs before every
But
match.
it's also
and a
important
prayer
that-
to God.
It's important that you play the honest agents at the same time, which they do.
The
Hey,
Phoenix.
listen, any team that's playing Phoenix, I can get behind that. I
Yeah.
can appreciate that.
May aim lab breasts scream on this day with a blessing of good aim, the best flicks, the nice shots, the greatest of Phoenix gameplay. I believe in Liquid. I believe in Liquid. I believe in Liquid. I believe in Liquid. They will win.
Yeah, this is extremely similar
Anyways.
to when
Wait,
Scream,
did you just change all of your LEDs in the background as well? That's
dude,
so-
technology.
that is actually technology.
We are in the future.
Yeah, we are in the future.
Technology.
I never thought I'd live to see the future,
What?
but it's here.
What do you mean? What is it? What? Is this just another doomer fucking point of view? What are you talking about?
It was just nonsense. It's just nonsense.
Okay, dude, I thought we were okay. Never mind. Let's not go down some kind of bizarre rabbit hole where you expected. Were you believing in 2012? Did you think the world was ending in 2012? Is that what you're going to tell me? The fuck are you talking about? All right, let's talk about LATAM. Furia and KRÜ. They return to champs. KRÜ will simply be at every event. They refuse to not be at every single event. They're going to be here. They're going to play. And after the last event, I do believe. They didn't make a deep run, but I think they were good. So I believe in KRÜ. And I also think their group, very reasonable group that they've found themselves in. And Furia, let's just start with KRÜ. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's start with KRÜ. How are you feeling about them coming into this one, Josh?
They never lose to Brazilian teams, but the same could be said for most people. So I'm not really sure what to take away from that. I think they're in good form, much better form than they were in for Reykjavik. I think Reykjavik was a particularly terrible tournament for them, where even on their run in, you could tell that they looked really poor. Copenhagen, they looked like they were in good form, and they actually ended up, doing fairly well globally. They look like they're in good form again, so I could see them again doing fairly well. I would expect them to get out of this group, actually. I think I have a bit more faith in KRÜ than I do in XSET, who I would expect to be the other team that's fighting for getting out of this group.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that. I think it's going to be a really close one, but I think KRÜ are the kind of team that really seems to excel when they're put in those tight positions, when they're fighting for their tournament life and stuff, whereas I didn't see that from XSET. In fact, I saw the opposite from XSET, and I'm not sure whether they fixed stuff in time to suddenly turn it around. It would be cool, but I just don't really believe in that.
Yeah. Watching KRÜ regionally again, I was just like, oh, it's KRÜ again. Like, I feel like I wasn't really like blown away by anything. They're in a solid form. It looks pretty similar to the way that they were playing at Copenhagen. I didn't feel like there was any like massive shifts that made them like massively worse or massively better. It wasn't like the fall off that they had after Champions, but it also wasn't like a revitalization from what I saw. Like, Mizuno's still really good. They still have those like magical Kesnet moments. I feel like they could have made a better run than they did at Copenhagen too. They just kind of had a really tough group, and I mean, they had COVID in like their last match. Like it was kind of a tough situation as a whole. And coming back in, I think it's to be expected that they would win here. I think that they've always been dominant in this region. Like you said, they don't lose to Brazil, and as long as they've like kept their same form, they will be fine. And they were fine. Like it's the same. I'm just not wowed.
Yeah. Do you need to be wowed in order for them to get out of the group, though?
No, not necessarily. Not with who they're playing.
The easiest of the groups.
Yeah, I mean, certainly XSET was not wowing last time. I think that'll be a really close game, but I would probably lean KRÜ as being the favorite to be the second seed out of this group. I'm done with my Xerxia copium, fully. I'm done with that lifestyle.
No Xerxia belief?
There was a time. But I'm past that phase. It's like when you're developing an adolescent. I wore the backwards hat. I dyed my hair for a bit. I'm done with that. No more Xerxia.
Let it grew up.
Xerxia are a very consistent team. They just very consistently get an upset win and then bomb out.
Yep.
I mean, surely if there were a time, well, we're gonna get to the groups later.
Okay,
but surely if there were time for Xerxia to get out of the group, this would be the time, right?
Maybe.
Do you think that outside of FPX, would you have KRÜ as your favorite to get out of this group as well, Benkai?
Judging from what I've seen in the last few events, yes, definitely. I don't know. It just feels like XSET just maybe does not have what they require to get out of the groups yet, and same for Xerxia. Xerxia definitely can do it because you've seen them like beat Optic and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about just that game that comes after. They just cannot grab a hold of, right? You just don't know what's wrong with it. It's just something that has to do with them. It's like us when we play DRX, we just can't beat them.
Yeah.
It's just some kind of curse that's going on with them.
Yeah, some kind of mental block or whatever it is. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I want to say that XSET should get, but the problem is it's just
this guy believes.
I don't believe.
Pepela.
The problem is
laughing Kermit the Frog.
There's
Wyatt
just
believes.
It's like XSET. They have to. I don't know. They just have to prove that they can do it. They can do it in a theoretical world where there's like where they're just playing as good as they should play. I think they should be able to get out of that group ahead of KRÜ, but it's a matter of that just actually being fucking reality, which is there's no way to know.
Well, the last time
other than just hoping that they've improved from their time at Copenhagen.
When XSET played at Copenhagen, you got poor performances out of Aaron, who was previously looking average within North America. He went from average to being very poor. Then you had Def losing every first duel and taking so many of them that it was like only getting the bad part of Angel. And so you just got only the bad there and none of the good. And then you had BCJ not turning up when he was playing Sky. He actually played a really good Omen. But then every time he was on Sky, they couldn't get anything going. Yeah. And I think part of that was just because nobody had the confidence to actually be able to work off his utility apart from Zekken and Cryo.
Yeah.
You can't have three of your players going missing and expect to make it out of groups.
Anyhow, we'll talk more about the group later. It's just comparing KRÜ to those teams, but the other team that qualified in the LCQ were Furia. They made it to champions last year. They made it again this time. They lost to KRÜ in the upper bracket final 3-0, which is par for the course when you're playing against KRÜ and you're a Brazilian team. That is just the trend. But I still have belief in this Furia roster. I do think they have some serious upset potential in that lower group. Like I said earlier in the show, they really surprised me at last year's champions. I think they were one of the teams that didn't look nervous stepping onto the stage. Matter of fact, I think they rose to the occasion. I think they kind of overperformed despite losing. All of their games were so close, and what they were actually doing within the rounds was excellent. Their calling was really good. Their mid rounds were great. So I have some belief there. I was your player of the week last week, Josh, but Jazin is a great pickup. He's playing pretty damn well for the squad. So I have some belief in the upset potential of Furia, but also their group is pretty damn stacked. They're going to have to fight for every win really hard. Which is the thing working against them the most, right? You don't see it happening though?
No, I just don't see it happening. I mean, I think they'd have to get the early upset game against PRX to put themselves in a good position. And even then, they're fighting against either, at that point, probably PRX 100 Thieves to be able to make it out of the group. And I just don't think they're going to be able to win 2 of those games. I think they can upset win 1, but I don't think they're going to be consistent enough to get out of a group like that, which has 2 teams that are guaranteed to be pretty good and 1 team that could be really good.
Yeah. I'm in like pretty much just the same boat where like it's pretty much the same as heading into last champions where like they'll probably play really close, some upset potential. Do they have much more? I mean, you mentioned Digizine. When I was watching them, like that Khalil guy, when he's playing on the controller, is pretty fucking nuts. Like he was pulling off a few like wild clutches for them, a pretty consistent guy. But it's like at the end of the day, I feel like Furia is a similar style of team to when the last time we saw them at champions. Like they're solid. They have a little bit of that like kind of Brazilian spice where they'll get aggressive, sometimes get in your face. But overall, I just say they're like an honest, solid team that will do honestly and solidly internationally.
Brazil is.
What do you think is missing from their team? Because it seems like they have all the right pieces, but they just can't get it over that line. So it's like, is there some kind of like phenomenon that's happening in Valorant that's affecting all of these teams? Because I just feel like there's so many teams in the scene right now that you can see lifting a trophy, but they just can't, including us.
Yeah. I think for Furia and for Brazilian teams in general, apart from Loud, they tend to miss a lot of steps in terms of like how they approach the game. I think they've got they've got these like elaborate executes, but they end up just running their heads into brick walls a lot. And I feel like the other teams have a better understanding of when to freeze the round or when to try and create space on the other side of the map and set up some lurk play. I feel like whenever we watch the Brazilian teams play internationally, apart from Loud, it tends to be a bit one-dimensional, just kind of running in there and trying to set yourselves up for aim duels as much as you possibly can, which ends up, I think, just getting read and crushed once you play globally. The Brazilian teams have been the worst at translating their success to global tournaments, apart from Loud, but they actually didn't get any success in the most recent one. So that's another storyline to keep track of, I think, too. Was Loud a flash in the pan? I don't think they were, but it would be deadly disappointing if they also fell over.
Yeah. Well, we can. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we do the pick'ems later, which will be after the rankings. We got some juice segments at the end of the show. All right. I like this one. I like this topic. Which LCQ player will perform the best at champs? How do we want to do this, Kurt? The one at a time? All right, let's do one at a time. Mimi, you're first on the chopping block. Who do we have?
I've already talked about my Chinese copium a little bit. Edward Gaming. This guy is fucking fantastic. He's super good at rifling. He's super good at opping. Fantastic individual in the chamber. He does have some of the troll overheat moments sometimes, but I think it's just going to be super exciting to watch on the global stage. Thank you for the audio listeners. Ken. By the way, also cool story about his name. CMJJ is his brother's ID, and he wanted to just like pay homage to his brother, so he put it in his ID before his own. Kind of cool dude. That's also player.
I don't know whether you knew that, but that's the same with Benkai. His brother's called Ben, so that's why Benkai's name is Benkai, right?
No, my brother's name is called X. That's why it's X Benkai.
Of course.
Is your brother called Side?
Yeah, my brother's called Side, and I'm just my name's Show.
Side.
Side Wilkinson.
God, I mean, that would just be awful. What kind of parents would they be to name their son Side and Show?
I think most of my pick'em is just like Chinese copium. That like I'm excited to watch him on a global stage. They look so fucking good in that LCQ. Like this guy was absolutely pounding.
I feel like
excited.
I feel like nobody might end up being the big like the standout player from this team as well.
Oh my God, he's not a nobody anymore. Some bullshit like that. I can't wait.
I just mean for his role. He just puts up outrageous decision making and rifling is so fantastic for the role that he plays.
Yeah, but also good chamber cool agent, chamber shoot good.
Yes, true.
Boring. All right, Benjamin Kai. Who is your pick? Also can. All right.
I think there's just something about Chinese players that just exudes confidence, it's just full, it's like he's the conductor of a train that just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
It's just fully ran on a full-on copium and hopium, and they're just riding along for that train. And it's just full of confidence, and the guy just doesn't stop, man. It's just something you see in a lot of Chinese players, and if he's able to translate that confidence to his team as well, you can really see them doing a lot of damage, these champions.
I think the train is such a fabulous metaphor, actually, for the way that they play, because you either get run over by it or it's going to be an enormous train wreck because they're just going to continue to play with that, that swag and take a lot of duels. And if they end up losing them at the global event, they might struggle to adapt to that. I don't know really what the second string in their bow is, but I think the train's a fabulous metaphor for it.
Josh, who have you got? Is it also a player from Edward?
No, it is not. It is the man whose hair I envy and desire. Can you imagine what I would look like with Scream's locks?
Can we get a Photoshop mock-up of that? Anyone listening? Can we make that happen?
I mean, can you put me up? Is there there isn't a full screen, is there? Because I'm not here. But I suppose, how would I even put my head in front of this image? I wouldn't even be able to do that.
But with that specific image, just the flowing volume of the hair, would just
it's so large.
It would just look.
I said on stream recently that I thought Trent had better hair than Scream, and I've seen this photo and I realized I was wrong. I was wrong and I was mistaken. They both have majestic hair, but Scream looks like a fucking lion. He's like the king of the pride. I'm not worried about Scream putting on a great performance. The only thing I'm worried about is that when Scream has his first child, it's going to get whisked up by some little Rumpelstiltskin character because he sold his first child for skill in video games. I'm convinced there's been some kind of pact that's been made, and he doesn't seem to have lost anything meaningful. Therefore, it must be something in the future. It's his first child. So that's the only thing I'm worried about. Scream is either going to be a great player, like his performance at this year's Reykjavik tournament was actually still a really great performance. His team couldn't put it together. They didn't have a great game plan. I think they've got a solid, maybe solid's the wrong word, but they've got a good but shaky game plan at the moment. It feels like a lot of their maps, they have an idea of what comp they want to play, how they want to play it, but the details are where things go messy. Like they're playing Fracture and they have these horribly awkward execs into A where they don't have the right utility to clear corners, and it feels like when they go for the exec, they don't exactly know which corners are being cleared. So like Scream double blast backs in and he's just like checking all around himself and it falls to pieces, and then Yampi wins a 1v4 and they win the round anyway. It's like weird shit like that happens where the game plan can be good, but the devil's in the details, and that's where they seem to struggle.
Yeah.
But I think Scream is always going to give you a good to great performance and sometimes a god tier performance. So I'm just relying on the fact that his form is going to be anywhere near what it was in this recent game.
Scream, I feel like Scream has perpetually existed in a very weird spot ranking-wise in the scene as a player.
He was always overrated until recently.
I swear, he's always like overrated or underrated, and it is never... I don't know, but he's so fucking good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's strange. It reminds, I remember, I think it was the Champions ranking. Like, I remember Connor put him at 4th, which is it's not even like it wasn't even crazy at the time, but it's like no one has him that high. I don't know. It's weird. Scream is fucking crazy. All right, pull up mine. I have gone with good old Asuna. Had to get a player from NA. No, I didn't, but I just wanted to because I think Asuna's been pretty unbelievably good on this 100 Thieves iteration. The role swap has been perfect for him. The more KO he's been playing, the better. He has tons of impact in both how he helps his teammates and sets them up at times, but also is still able to frag really effectively.
He takes so many fights as a flex player.
And he wins a lot of them.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a crucial reason individually why they win a lot of rounds, because he just is he's one of the players that is frequently going to just have I get a 3K round from the individual skill, but
he feasted on the Fracture Neon when he went from
that as well. I mean, Neon is the perfect play. Yeah. It's the perfect agent for crack cocaine zoomer energy.
The round where they push spawn with him and like run him all the way through and then like double back to like they set him up so well, and he's just so good.
God, this was a nasty pounding. I don't care that Zico kills. I don't care. I
was like the Wojak that was like, you know, the guy that's like, no, you can't do this, when he was playing like last stage, where it's like, no, you can't take every first fight as initiator, you're gonna troll these rounds. And then he kind of trolled the rounds, but then he comes out here and he's still just taking every first fight as initiator, but it's just killing fucking everyone. And then they also have him playing Indian and he's just killing fucking everyone. Like, it's just like, it is absurd how well he plays as just an individual, and like I feel like he's been so much better set up in this LCQ versus last stage. I'm very happy with how he's playing as an individual. I'm very happy with 100 Thieves. He's gonna be cool.
Yeah, he's just such a driving force for the team.
It takes a lot of the burden away from Will as well, because Will doesn't take anywhere near the same amount of fights as you'd expect from, you know, I mean, if you compared him to like Kang, who's out here playing a similar kind of role, nowhere near the same amount of fights and not the same kind of win rate, but Asuna takes a lot of that burden on his shoulders by actually being the tip of the spear a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I think they've managed to figure out a system where it finally works. It finally doesn't feel like Asuna's just out there on his own, because Bang and Derek are so good at being able to support him, both with the angles they hold and the utility they throw.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Wait! The new Grubhub activation. Hold on. Hold the phone. This one is actually, I'm not gonna lie, this one's just kind of crazy. They're giving us some crazy, they're giving us some good deals. I'm not gonna lie to you. They are giving us some good deals. So this week, from the 17th today to the 20th, you can use code PLAT5 for $5 off orders of $10 plus. So like, unless you're like ordering a fucking water bottle, that's like every order. I mean, that's pretty good. You can just get $5 off like any order on Grubhub.
Just don't order a water
for new
bottle.
diners. Yeah, don't get a water bottle and then you can't use the code. At least get 2 water bottles.
Yo, Kermit's pogging out of control. Of this.
He loves Grubhub.
And yeah, so that is code PLAT5 for $5 off orders of $10 plus for new diners on Grubhub, up to 500 orders.
And that's for any audio listeners as well. That's PLAT5, like the number 5, not written out FIVE.
PLAT5, as in the number. Grubhub fuels your gaming performance and rewards gamers in game and out. We take pride in being the connector between you and your favorite local restaurants. The Grubhub guarantee promises you food.
What is the Grubhub guarantee, Wyatt?
Well, it promises you food, and it's delivered on time.
I like time.
And at the lowest price.
Whoa, that's incredible. Wait, and what happens?
Guaranteed, or they'll make it right.
Oh, they'll make it right.
They'll make it right.
Okay.
Listen, the guarantee, then also, they'll make it right. Again, code PLAT5, PLAT5 is in the number for $5 off your order of $10 plus for new diners from August 17th to the 20th. So thank you very much to Grubhub for sponsoring the episode. I mean, that's it. Dude, listen, if you guys are hungry, get some food and save $5.
Yeah, that's just a good deal. I'm hungry. I want to save $5. I'm going to use code PLAT5 on Grubhub, I think.
That's a good idea.
It's just a good honest deal. If you're a hardworking American and you need a meal, this is a great deal.
You know, this is one of those types of podcasts where the people listening are hardworking Americans. The people on the show not hardworking. Most of them not Americans. I mean, Benkai's hardworking, actually. Kurt's quite hardworking as well.
Kurt's an honest, hardworking American.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
That's true.
We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, boy, oh boy, do we have stuff. We've got the power rankings, and we've got pick'ems. Let's go. Be back in a moment.
I love picking them. I love picking them.
Hi, chat.
There it is.
Hello, how you doing, Mimi?
I'm doing.
What song
good.
do you
I'm
want
gonna
me
go
to play?
I played Epic Gaming Music Top 10, Top 20, 2022 New Edition gaming tracks to play Roblox or Minecraft 2, please.
Is that an actual title of a video?
Probably.
I just found Epic Gaming Music Mix 2015 Dubstep Royalty-Free Music Playlist September 2015.
How can it be gaming dubstep
awesome.
music that's royalty free? In what? I mean, they have just put together different keywords.
I mean, it only has 3K views, so it's probably not the best title. But I found it.
What if you played like the Epic?
I can't hear
I
you.
can't hear Mimi at all. It sounds
Play
like
the
she just
really
ran
cool
away
music.
from a mic.
What if you just search for like a royalty-free Walmart Skrillex? That should work, right?
Walmart Skrillex.
Let me see if I can find that.
That sounds amazing. Can you imagine the person that just titles their own music Walmart Skrillex? The level of self-awareness and humility you need to call yourself the Walmart Skrillex. That'd be fantastic.
There's a video with 20 views, and it's titled Walmart Skrillex, posted 2 months ago, and the image is just stock footage of flowers.
That sounds incredible.
I don't know if I want to click that just yet. But if any of you guys want to try it in chat, feel free.
Diaz Putra and Blades of 7, thanks for the super chats as well. I saw them, I didn't read them out, but one of them's confusing me. From Diaz Putra, it says, Benkai, please tell Jason, thanks. But that's it.
Say thanks for what? I say thanks.
I don't know what they're thanking you for. I don't know whether they were thanking you or thanking Jason or what. I really can't pass the message particularly, but just someone, saying hi, I guess.
Nice.
Actually, I'll save this for after the break. Actually, no, I won't. This is special break time conversation. Benkai, was there any talk about going on a boot camp kind of stuff in the run up to Champions? Because I know that Xset have just set off to boot camp, and I think someone was saying Zeta Division are currently in Europe. Was there any talk of PRX doing that kind of stuff? Do you think it's valuable?
Guys.
Not in. Yes.
Oh, sorry. I just came back and started talking about my headphones.
Yeah, you're
Continue
interrupting
your
us.
segment. That was really rude. Keep going, Benkai.
We weren't gonna do it in Poland like everybody else, so we're not gonna call it a boot camp, just because of we're very superstitious. Yeah, because if you don't perform, then the fans are gonna be like, oh, but you had that boot camp leading up to the event.
Right.
Yeah, so
I like the average fan voice.
It's not a boot camp. It's just a little holiday where you might play some Valorant.
Preparations, yeah.
Right. But
Preparation vacation.
you're going to be there for a little while just beforehand, just to kind of get in the rhythm of things.
Oh, so we are doing it in Singapore right now. So everybody, the entire team is here in Singapore right now.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah, and we'll be flying to Istanbul together.
Right.
Gotcha.
Do you get good scrims in the run up to an event
Not
like this, where
really,
like all of the top teams are kind of going?
Not exactly, because you have all of these teams that just lost LCQ, and the last thing they want to do is practice. So you don't really get like really good top tier scrims anyway. So we spend a lot of time doing more theory work than anything, like just coming up with new whimsical strats.
That sounds wonderful. I look forward to seeing the new whimsy.
All right. Is it time for the extreme moldery?
I'd love to.
I have something first. I have something very important first. Kurt, can you please check Discord and just pull up what I added you with in the Valorant channel? It's very important.
Is this a Photoshop of Scream's hair on my head?
It's very important.
oh, that's dreadful though. My face is way too large. I've got no neck.
No. That's how you normally look.
That is not how I normally look.
Oh my god.
This is such a good image.
That is a great
awesome.
image.
It's awesome. This was sent to me by JRush512 on Twitter, and his caption was sent to you instead of Kurt because you'll have enough ADHD to check DMs during the stream. Which, yep, that was correct.
Wow.
That is such a great image. If you're an audio listener, note the time and go to the video when you get home from work.
I mean, I've just got such a fat head on me. That is just so large. God.
All right. Let's do some rankings. Let's do some champions team rankings.
You want to do power rankings before we do pick'ems?
Yep.
Okay.
We're gonna rank them and then we're gonna pick them. But
All right.
first, we're gonna rank them.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Pull up the list. We got all 16 teams. Oh my god.
What is this based on? Is this just random order or? Oh no, this is kind of where they finished.
It's I just kind of threw it together. So
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like where the top 8 teams finished at least, and then the rest of not all the teams where I previously been. So yeah, okay. Now I want to put the clear ground rules here.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
What's
That
the
this
ground
is
rules?
just I want to live in a hypothetical land where champions is just happening tomorrow, and we're just ranking the power. Okay, we are ranking the power.
So, for example,
this team got this result. Don't care.
So you don't care that FPX just won Copenhagen? If I think PRX are going to beat them this time, I put PRX number 1.
Yeah.
Is that's what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you feel like FPX, if you think that their power is just not that high, then that's what you got to say.
I have no evidence.
You got to rank the power.
That.
But that's the thing, right? Also, I mean, you can live in a world with some evidence to where your, power feelings lie. But I personally, I don't think I'm keeping FPX at number 1.
Oh, come off
I don't know.
We can't start here.
I don't know if I'm keeping. I like FPX, but I mean, number 1. There's a lot of good teams.
They got out of groups 4v5. And then they blasted their way through the lower bracket with Sugetsu. As soon as Sugetsu got back, they didn't lose a single match. And they haven't lost one since then. It's not like they played another tournament.
Haven't played any since then.
I know, but it's not like there's any, it's not like they actually did play an LCQ and sucked or anything. They've just, the most recent thing we've seen from them is winning every game against every top team with Sugetsu.
Yeah. But also... do you think they're going to do it? Are they doing it again?
Probably
yes,
not.
Maybe.
That's exactly.
Probably not, but they have a higher chance of doing it than anyone else.
Josh, I have a really strong point here.
Uh-huh.
So, Mimi has a Minecraft server, and Doombros joined it, the coach of FPX. And he built a lovely house on top of a mountain, but it was built out of acacia. So that
Put him
kind
in
of-
16. Put him in 16.
So not only did he build it,
wood.
I assume out of the wrong wood, I don't really know Minecraft, but also he's spending time on Minecraft instead of theory crafting new whimsical strats.
It has
Complacency.
everything to do with acacia and not spending time on Minecraft.
Right. Okay.
No, he could have been making strats on the time he was making Minecraft house. Put him down.
Okay, let me ask you
Doombros
this.
playing Minecraft. They're not coming in first.
If FPX are not number 1, who is?
I don't know, but Benkai, sorry, bro, but you're on this podcast right now. Move him down. Move him down. Everyone down. If they've ever done anything except grind, move them down.
Yeah. How much? Okay, Benkai. How much Valorant have you been playing in the last week?
Okay, wait. Let me do the Mimi for this one. Wait, let me.
With the frog. Oh yeah.
This month alone is the most Valorant I've played, I think in this entire year combined.
Put him in number one. Put him in number
Dude,
one. Move it up.
No. This is nonsense.
I mean, I don't think that's nonsense.
Oh,
I think that's sense.
Dude, it
I think that's
can't be
good on
any
his sense.
fucking clear. One team mining and crafting, the other one locked in, laser focus. I don't know what to say. I don't think it could be any clearer than that.
I think
Dude, Benkai probably practiced 10 hours today, and now what? What time is it in Singapore? It's like past midnight. It's like 1 or 2 a.m. right now, right?
It's 2:50 a.m.
It's 2:58 a.m. He cares so much about Valorant that he practices all day, comes on this podcast to grind out and talk about more Valorant. They got to be number one. They got to be number one.
Okay, so here's another point of view. So the top three, in my opinion, has to be PaperX, FPX, and Optic in some order, right? Because you've got PaperX finished 4th, finished 2nd, looking great, looks like they could win a tournament. You got FPX, they just won the most recent one. They were undefeated as soon as Sugetsu came back. And you had Optic, who won in Reykjavik, came 3rd in. Did they come 3rd?
Yes. Right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
sorry, I completely mind blanked there for a moment. came 3rd in Copenhagen. They look like they can win tournaments still, but I just don't see how you can put FPX not in the number one spot. I know you just want to do it based on power rankings, but man, they powered their way through the rankings, beating everybody that was put in front of them as soon as Sugetsu was on the team. Artist didn't look like he was going to be a top chamber player heading into the event, like, you know, absolute elite. And then he just was the most consistent player that was in the tournament. On chamber, on KO, on everything. Sugetsu, farming, Shao, clutching. They had everything.
I'll allow it. I've reconsidered.
Thank you, wise master.
I'll allow it. Any vetoes? Or the FPX number one, is that okay?
What, Benkai, what was your feel on playing against FPX? Would you get him next time?
I don't know if I can really say that we'll win, but we'll be better prepared for that kind of playstyle. That's like the entire focus of this not boot camp that we're having right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the not boot camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mean the like really slow-paced, methodical? What the fuck? Edward Gaming number one.
Keep it up there. Nice job, Kurt. This is a good take.
You mean the like really slow,
Based
methodical, like punish you for peeking, that kind of stuff? Is that what you mean by that?
Yeah. That's like the main. It's like one of the main things that PaperX has problems with. So we've been trying to come up with better ways to play that mid to late round.
Because I feel like that style for FPX is going to bode so well against a lot of teams that they play against here. There's a lot of teams that last we saw them still playing Neon. Don't know whether they're going to continue doing that. But there's also a lot of teams that are just crazy aggro and love taking those kind of fights. And FPX they're the best team in the world at shutting that stuff down.
Yeah. Okay, I'm fine with it. So,
Okay.
you know, it's just a little. But
I think
number
1
one,
3 is
that's
very
fine.
reasonable here. Very honest.
You're okay with the top three?
I'm okay with the top 3.
So FPX
What
1,
I am going to
PaperX 2,
suggest
Optic
is
3.
I think Loud goes up, DRX goes down. I
Based.
don't have faith in DRX not choking.
Does Fnatic get to keep a number 4 position despite not really living up to their potential at Copenhagen?
I know it's Copium, but Louder coming back. Trust me, guys. I know it's fucking. I know. It's just.
Oh, by the way, if we're doing this,
it's based off the second place curse. The second place curse.
oh, well, that means
And they're coming
PaperX.
back.
That means PaperX are going to tank then because they finished second at the last
Oh
tournament.
yeah, you're right.
Unlucky Benkai.
Oh, sorry, we gotta move down to 16th.
The curse is going to hit you.
We're just making way for Edward Gaming to just move up.
I mean, honestly, was Fnatic that like disappointing? Really, like they lost.
Yes.
They lost a match to PaperX. They lost a close game to FPX.
Yes, they were
Like-
disappointing. Their form was way worse than they had showed regionally. They almost lost to Leviathan, for God's sake.
That's fair. That game
Durka
was
didn't really turn up
horrendous.
after he smoked FPX with their stand-in. And then all the rest of the games, he just didn't really have that, like... Durka's one of the players that you expect to turn up to LAN. Always good at LAN. He absolutely made a fool of me when I doubted him at Last Champions. I'm not going to doubt him again, but what I'm saying is he didn't live up to that at Copenhagen. Didn't look like he was in contention for best player in the tournament or the world.
It was the first. He was the first international with this roster. Even though they weren't really in their form, they still made top 4. It was still a solid run. I think putting them in 4th place is incredibly reasonable because I think if anything, they're going to come back to this event better.
Okay.
I think their power will level up. I think I have faith that they will come back, have a bit of a Joker moment, and realize, hey, we screwed up here. The nerves are gone. They've played this event before. Durka's been playing 10,000 hours of aim lab every single day. They're ready.
Okay. Such a regular fucking top 5 we got, or top 4.
Yeah, top 4. Because let's be
just
real.
So regular.
The top 5, I might have some doubts about. You got Loud at 5th.
Who are you putting in 5?
I don't know. Let's have a discussion. Let's pick.
I don't like that laugh.
Grab a couple names out of the hat.
Liquid.
No.
Zeta. Edward Gaming.
Absolutely.
There are some teams that I think we should start to consider for you have faith in them making a run. The problem is, any of those 3 teams that I've just mentioned could actually get eliminated in groups because they've got really tough groups. Zeta's in a group with Optic and Loud.
It's just about power. It's not about what groups they're in and what's actually
it is. It's about power in the sense of it's supposed to be predictive of the tournament somewhat.
A little bit, yeah, somewhat. I mean, you can. I feel like you can factor in the group a little bit. You can factor that in a little bit, but
because only Optic, Loud, and Zeta are in the same group. I know there's going to be Zeta apologists out there. I don't believe in them again. They've been boot camping, and
this went well for you last time.
Happening again. It's
but Zeta
again.
are now playing without 10, who was one of their big raise carries through some of the maps. They're not playing Split because it's not in the tournament, and that was one of their best maps where they really had those fantastic performances.
Split and Pearl. Similar.
Yeah,
that's what Benkai said.
But they're also,
they got a new map. It's
It's not necessarily a raise meta right now, but you need a good raise player, and they're not playing with 10. They're playing with a stand-in player. I just don't see it happening again. I think it's Optic Loud get out of that group, and that means Zeta kind of are not in contention, I suppose, despite the fact I just said they were.
Okay, so you're removing Zeta from this equation. You've got Liquid and Edward.
Okay, wait a minute. Can I make a pitch here?
Okay.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Wyatt, but if we can pull up the graph again, I think that Loud and Zeta are almost like a shared position. If we consider the groups, I think it is pretty much guaranteed that Fnatic will make it out, and then either Zeta or Loud will. And I have faith in either of them to make a deep run if they make it out of groups.
Nope. Zeta doesn't go on a run again. It was a honeymoon period. They don't have one of their best players. They're playing with 4 out of 5 of their main roster. They just lost in Japan to a Northeption that just got pounded internationally. And
yeah, go on.
And go on. What do you call it? They're just not making a run. They're not making a run. I'll place. I don't know what I would place on it.
So Loud are in 5th. So we've ended up with Loud in 5th.
KRÜ
in 5th. I don't know about KRÜ. Now you're taking it too far. You're taking it too far.
All right. What about Edward or DRX then? What about if it's one of these East Asian?
I think I would consider putting Edward in 6. I think Edward actually looked really good. I think we look at these teams below them. The 10 teams below them. I see them beating every single one of them.
Edward
13
over
every map.
Edward over.
Okay,
DRX even?
I think
does Edward defeat DRX?
What even though
DRX are just terminally 6th place, they're going to finish in 6th place.
Which is why we should be rating them 5th place. They should be above Loud at there because everyone else.
No, you know what? No, it's not happening. But put fucking DRX are going to the bottom.
No,
they're playing an NA and an EU team in the group. They're playing an NA and an EU team in the group.
DRX are not losing to 100 Thieves.
You say that now.
No.
You say that now.
DRX.
You say that now, Josh.
No.
You say that now.
No. I mean, they could. They could get grouped, but DRX looked like they'd solved some of their problems. You were getting slightly more consistent results out of RB.
They
He had a
choked
really
again.
good group stage. Didn't really look great in the playoffs.
He always has a good group stage. Every time he has a good group stage, chokes in playoffs.
Yeah, that's the entire team as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Do you
Also,
have faith in DRX, Benkai? Do you think that they're going to be able to? Are they ever going to make a tournament run?
It's a matter of time. That's what I view. I always believed in them ever since Masters Berlin. But yeah, I feel like if they just break out of that structure that they so insist on keeping,
Mm.
then maybe they'll break that 5th and 6th curse, you know what I mean? But right now, as I see it, maybe I don't really see them getting past that.
You know, Buzz had a horrendous tournament as well. I just don't think he has another tournament that bad. That was like an absurdly poor tournament from Buzz.
Yeah, usually is really good. I could be okay with yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I guess I still believe in DRX's ability to probably beat all of the teams that I'm seeing below them on this. I think.
Yeah.
I think I still not that there aren't
others.
teams that could beat them. I think there are definitely teams that can beat
Their
them.
power dictates that they should.
But they just typically will beat the teams that are ranked below them with some consistency, especially if they're not from NA or EU.
Yeah.
That is also that is a problem though.
Yeah,
They start playing NA EU teams. But I'm okay with keeping them in 6 because they've just that is about where they usually end up. They are consistent against the teams that are on paper ranked lower than them.
So we're keeping Loud at 5th.
I think so.
Oh,
But
okay.
you don't want to?
No.
Well, okay, we can listen.
I think that's
some concessions.
fine.
Okay.
I think that's fine.
Okay, it's fine. Edward Gaming.
I'm actually happy with this top 7.
Okay, Edward Gaming. Oh, God. They're either going to go out in a blaze of glory in the groups, or they'll probably finish about 7th, 8th, I think. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm happy to take a punt on them, but the thing is, they could be power ranked at this kind of level and still not make it out of that group. Because the group's kind of nasty, right? You've got PRX, you've got Liquid in there. Who the fuck else is in that group?
Leviathan.
Oh, Leviathan as well, who aren't... I mean, they're not a bad team.
Yeah.
No. But I think Edward beats them, and I think Edward also beats Liquid. And I think they make it out of the groups, and then they win like one match in playoffs and lose, which is why I want to put them here.
Edward versus Liquid is going to be maybe even more of a fun game than Edward against PRX. Because I feel like both Edward and Liquid have these overheat moments where they just make these crazy mistakes, but then they have wild playmaking all across the board.
Yeah. I don't want to get too
clash.
lost in the sauce with the groups. I want to make sure that we are just continuing to, for the most part here, rank just who we think is
I think
better.
Liquid should be more
I feel like
consistent than Edward.
we're sleeping on Wyatt. I feel like we're snoozing. We're snoozing.
Yeah, possibly.
And I think that they should probably be pretty high up there.
Do you think Leviathan are going to be better than Team Liquid? Oh, dude, my brain has been melted by Liquid's LCQ run. It's the same as last time, man. But last time they actually made top 4 after that crazy LCQ run. We all thought they had a chance to win, and then they made top 4.
I don't think
they have a chance to win now.
Were different though as well, because that was like they were in the LCQ, and then they made the roster move to bring in Nevera, and we're on that run for the last.
Yeah.
So the context was a bit different.
And they
but
had
I do
like
know
the
what you're
double op
saying.
meta thing that was going for them.
I think I have our solution. I think
okay.
I have our solution. I think our solution is 100 Thieves 8th place.
Where did you bring that one out from?
100 Thieves is a team that if they make it out of the groups, they have great prep. They're good at, once they see more tape on opponents, they get better and better. They have some great players. Austin already has LAN experience, and he was like far and away the best player of the LCQ. I have faith in Derek keeping up his form. He's going to be insane. This team is awesome. Stellar's calling was looking so much better as LCQ got deeper. And who are they competing against? In their group, it's a tough one. Let's be honest. Fnatic and DRX, they don't make it out of that group. But if they did, if they did,
It's about the power, though.
Wait, if they did,
About the
their
power.
power would have them win about 2 matches before they go out in playoffs.
No way. There's 2 matches before they went out in playoffs, puts them in
One
top
or two.
4.
One or two.
100 Thieves are the most overhyped 1 and 2 team I've ever seen. I mean, this team is going to get the same kind of rude awakening, I think, on the global stage that Exet and the Guard got beforehand. I believe in the coaching staff. I believe in Asuna.
Sean was on the desk for Berlin. Fucking Asuna has been here. Like, they have the experience.
Benkai, can you solve this? How do you solve this conundrum in the 7th and 8th region?
Oh my god. I would switch Liquid and 100 Thieves. That's what I think. I don't know. It just feels like 100 Thieves is still way too fresh to be able to. Like I do see them being able to perform really well with all that prep that they are going to do. But I feel like that performance level that we saw in week 1 is just waiting to resurge out.
Yeah, I think that might.
Liquid
also,
do have, but they do experience diff them. They do experience diff.
And also, Liquid
Thieves.
have been actually solid, even when they looked shit at the beginning of this year. And I'm saying shit, compared to what we've seen from Liquid in the past, but they were still the 4th best team in EMEA by the playoffs. At the beginning of this year, they got that like golden ticket to Reykjavik because FPX couldn't make it. Yeah. And they actually did something. I was expecting them to just get grouped, and they didn't, right? I can't exactly remember what they even did in the group stage, but I remember that
they made it out
relatively decent. Didn't they? Were they in a group with Xerxia?
I think so.
No, because I would have put them in the same group as Optic.
Yeah, but Liquid they won 2-0. Anyway, I think they went 2-0 in that group. But regardless, I'm fine. I think Liquid should be pretty high. I really think Leviathan have to be higher. I mean, obviously they're going to be higher than 15th, but I think I would put them above 100 Thieves. They've got more experience. They made a deep run at Copenhagen.
So let's think of it like so we have our kind of the two. There'll be 8 teams who lose in the group stage. There's an upper 4. There's a lower 4, and I think the upper 4 of groups losers is Zeta, 100 Thieves, Exet, Leviathan. That all win 1 match and then go out. That's my take.
I think that's pretty reasonable, honestly. But I would put Leviathan definitely above Exet, and I think I'd put Leviathan
above Exet.
I would put Leviathan above all these teams.
Yeah, I would put Leviathan in the 9th position. I think they got to be in 9th.
No.
And I think we might possibly be underrating Leviathan.
I think we are.
I think it's possible that they could end up in like 7th, and
I think they
maybe
can
make it out of the group.
Make playoffs.
But
and not just
I think it's going to be more difficult.
Even in regards to even just straight up ranking the teams, I can absolutely believe that Leviathan are going to be I think they could be better than Edward Gaming. I mean, we might be seriously overrating Edward Gaming.
I think we are overrating.
You might be, but think of the clout.
I think Leviathan could beat DRX too. They weren't far off from it in their first game. I don't think that's unreasonable, though. I'll still rank DRX power ranking ahead of them right now is fine, but.
Yeah, but if you think about look at the teams that Leviathan played at Copenhagen. It was Exet. I would still rank Leviathan above Exet, even though that game was really close. And then they lost to Fnatic and DRX, who were ranking as like 4th, 6th place teams. Yeah. They're a good team. But I also don't think there's too much of a chance for them to get out of this group. It's a nasty group.
We got to move KRÜ up.
Okay, so I think KRÜ should be the top of the bottom. So it should be below Exet at the top of the bottom. I think Furia should be the bottom. Boom. Then
I think KRÜ beats
this
Exet.
Is reasonable.
I think KRÜ.
I'm just slowly watching APEC. I'm just slowly watching APEC just one by one, just being done dirty, just lower and lower and lower.
Benkai, I want to ask you, where do you put Xerxia? Where do you put Xerxia? Fight for APEC.
Oh my god. Can I see the graph again? I'll put them at a solid 12. Because they do have that potential to be the best teams. It's just,
I'm actually okay with that.
It's like a coin flip between whether they can bring that even more like further than they did, right? Like last time. So if they do, I think 12 is pretty fair.
I think that they're again just kind of destined to be a 1 and 2 team. The group that they've got is fairly easy, right? They're in the group with Exet, KRÜ, and XSET, KRÜ, and
So
FPX.
it's like 3 teams all fighting for one slot besides FPX.
It's winnable for Xerxia to beat XSET and KRÜ, but I actually think that they're I think they're like a coin flip against XSET. And unfortunately, Xerxia tend to win the first and lose the second and get eliminated. That's just the way that Xerxia kind of have been going.
Yeah.
By the way, Zekken and Cryo popped the fuck off. They played really well. It's just that the other 3 couldn't hold up.
The XSET one is so tough.
I don't have too much faith.
Oh, it's so tough.
They are going to a boot camp. They're boot camping in Poland before the tournament begins.
I think we switch XSET and 100 Thieves for starters. And then I think we're undervaluing
What the Dickens? Wait, so let's get this straight. You think XSET are going to perform better than 100 Thieves?
I'm changing.
Dickens?
I'm changing my
What the
mind.
Dickens?
I'm changing my mind. I'm changing my thoughts, my prayers for these teams. I think that XSET. I don't know. I don't know if I have faith for like the rest of 100 Thieves to show up. I think it'll be similar to XSET at Copenhagen, where it's like you have Cryo and Zach, and I think for them it'll be like Derek and Asuna show up, and like what else? What else are we gonna see?
I mean, I think Bang will probably turn up. But again, not a player with too much experience. I don't think Derek's a player with too much experience.
It's
but
like
I
the
do
lack
have
of
faith in Derek.
experience. Stellar as well, like hasn't really played in one of these before. I feel the same way about Will. Like Will is the one I'm most worried about. Like he was showing inconsistencies in North America. What's it going to be like when he's playing on the global stage on like his first big LAN?
Then put them both below Xerxia. Xerxia's got the experience, but also put them all beneath KRÜ.
Who do you move down for that?
Who
do you move down to facilitate?
Put KRÜ to 11th. I think
Slide
this
everyone else
KRÜ
down.
to 11th.
KRÜ have showcased enough over the course. After that one blip in Reykjavik, they've shown enough to be able to. I would have more faith in KRÜ making a run than Xerxia. They are quite similar teams in the terms of they've been to a lot of events before, they've had big wins before, but KRÜ can actually follow up on big wins.
Overrating Leviathan. I think KRÜ should be where Leviathan is. And Leviathan should be where
All right, cut the mic off.
No,
you can't be doing that. There's
KRÜ
just
has
no
a
way.
consistency. Every single event, they're always really good domestically. Leviathan had like one flash in the pan where they won the most
You can't call it
chaotic, like
flash in the
crazy
pan.
game.
They
against
haven't played another tournament. This is the next tournament. They've only played one tournament.
Yes, KRÜ has played 6 of these. This is KRÜ 6. KRÜ should be higher. KRÜ has the experience. It's the same roster. They have fucking Kez and Mazzino. We're gonna pop the fuck off. Like,
I'm not even gonna. Josh, I'm just gonna let it. I'm gonna let the fucking.
No, KRÜ should be higher than Leviathan.
Okay, well then
take a nap.
All right, let me ask you this question then, Mimi. Which of the teams do you think played better at Copenhagen?
True.
You think KRÜ looked better at Copenhagen?
I think KRÜ legitimately looked quite good. Even in their losses, it was quite close. I think that Fnatic was looking so bad in their game versus Leviathan. For KRÜ going back to that event, let's be honest, the guild game was kind of benched. They beat Loud though, and they put up a fight in the guild game as well. I think there's a very good chance they could have won that and made it out of the groups. For Leviathan, everything was scrappy. And
Leviathan put up a much better fight against Fnatic, who finished top 4. They beat XSET. And they put up a good fight. I don't think they really had too much of a chance to win the game against DRX, but they beat them on one of DRX's best maps.
But if you're rating Leviathan so highly and KRÜ so low, it's like it feels like you're predicating that off like one close game versus Fnatic and beating XSET, where it's like KRÜ is also beat one of those like good
spots
teams.
difference. One's in 9th, one's in 11th. I haven't put them 1st and 16th.
I mean, I understand that, but I think that KRÜ is still. I think KRÜ is. If we're gonna punt on a LATAM team, I'd rather punt on KRÜ.
It's not even a punt. It's just.
It's a gentle kick, and I want to gently
placement.
kick KRÜ. It's a modest kick, and I think KRÜ should be higher.
So where would you put them? Where would you put KRÜ?
Switch.
You'd switch them.
Good on a switch. And then.
Oh, I don't like this. It doesn't make sense. There's no evidence for it. My brain rebels. Taco Leah clears now.
Is owner going to? Surely he's.
Yeah, he should be. Yeah.
Yes. The
Because
coach
last time he had COVID, so he couldn't travel, right?
Yep.
So he should be able to be.
Kurt, please, for
We can't allow Mimi to do
the
this.
sake of Valorant, switch it back.
We can't allow Mimi
Benkai,
to.
decide this.
No,
I have to.
Benkai, decide this. KRÜ or Leviathan, who's
Did you
better?
play against these teams, like in scrims or anything? Because you weren't playing in the same group as them or whatever?
I don't think we really did. I think we only practiced against KRÜ once, and that was long ago, like in Berlin or something.
Mm.
But just based on like the frequency of the events that KRÜ have been at, I don't know. I'm just inclined to think that they have like a better chance of making a deeper run than Leviathan does. This is what I.
God, no.
Let's go, Benkai.
Okay.
Big Benkai.
Okay, I have more
All
faith
right.
in Leviathan than Zeta Division.
I
By
do
the way,
too.
Zeta Division are playing with a fucking sub. Hello? With a sub.
Is it? It's
All right,
with a
plummet
sub.
him. Fucking
I feel like
plummet
I
him.
got
Put him down.
misinformation.
Put him down.
then.
It's with like a new player as far. I can't even remember who the player is actually. Kurt, would you mind pulling up Zeta on VLR?
I thought they made a move willingly.
Well, 10
No.
took a step back because he had an eye injury, I think it was.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I think
mean,
arm.
whatever I read was just I don't know. I saw a fucking
He 10
sharp
10
message
took a
on
break.
bathroom wall.
10 took a
about
break
it or something. I don't know
and
what I
they've brought in,
saw.
XDLL, that's the player, the stand-in there. I don't know too much about him, I'm going to be honest. He played for Blue Bees Esports.
I like that team.
I don't think I've ever watched
I watched them
them
once.
play. Listen, maybe he's crazy. Maybe he's God's gift,
But
and
even
this
still,
is actually an upgrade.
Playing with a sub makes that. I mean, it does
Show the
just make
rankings,
a
please,
huge
Kurt.
difference. It does just make an immense difference. Unfortunately, because I would love to see a good Zeta Division
All right.
run. They're entertaining as hell, but
I'm sorry, Zeta Division. They're getting killed for Xerxia.
yeah.
Move
Yeah.
Xerxia up.
I mean,
Move Xset up.
I
Move 100 Thieves up.
I'm just
Put him above
yeah.
Yeah, I think. Listen,
Dude.
I don't want to be rude to Zeta Division, but they had a honeymoon run, and now they're playing with 4 out of 5 of the players, and they're not going to repeat it again. And I think this is a little harsh to them. I think it is.
I wouldn't even call their run a honeymoon. They're just playing with a sub, and historically, that's just like a death
They
sentence.
were really
Yeah.
good. They were really good. But like, look at like FPX. They were the winning team. They fucking barely made it out of the groups with a sub. It's really tough to do. And it's just like the level of competition is so high at this event that like as much as I want to be a believer and I want to get on the copium, just I believe in Japan, I can't. My conscience won't let me.
It's a great example, actually, the FPX, because it's the only time that we've seen a team play with a stand-in and without one in the same event. And FPX would have finished 7th, 8th, I think,
I mean,
if they had
the
continued to
difference
play.
was just
Yeah, the difference is
astronomical.
it's absurd. It's like, going from being you didn't get grouped, well done, to holy shit, you just won the event. I mean, that is a
Yeah.
massive difference.
Yes, it is.
Um,
God,
It just pains me seeing Team Liquid that high.
I think I genuinely think I've been infected by
You're-
watching
It's like,
them.
Josh, you remember last week. Remember yourself.
so
Remember
good.
the
What?
true you. When you saw them and were like, there's no game plan. They're doing dumb shit. But it only works because they have 2 insane players. It shouldn't work. It shouldn't work internationally. They should not be this high. They should not make it out of the group. They should lose to either Edward or Leviathan
Oh
and
my
not
God.
get out of the group.
Oh my god!
Wake up.
My
Wake up.
God. All of the memories have just come rushing back of them trolling rounds and overheating, and their players just doing some dumb shit all the time and screaming
Me just
Yampy.
hit with like the Half-Life 2 fucking G-Man speech. You're just waking up.
Yeah.
Dude, what?
Well,
this
no,
is
Screaming Yampy
Take the
will
red
not play
pill.
that well at Champions.
Yep.
They just. They won't. They can't. It was an absurd performance. And if I'm ranking 100 Thieves down based on I don't think they're going to keep the same form, I should do the same with Liquid, right?
but
But I don't think they're gonna. I think they're still gonna be at least as good as KRÜ and Leviathan. I still think they're on the same tier as those teams. So I still
Okay,
think they should be
hear me
like
out. Hear me out. Hear me out.
I just believe I believe in Liquid, and I think that they have the experience. They've been here a million times. I am on board with keeping Liquid in 8th. I would not want to move them. I'm actually I'm fine with how this is looking right
Can
now.
I sell just one source of Xset copium? One little, a little piece of Xset copium. It's like their young players were performing. The people that needed to step up were stepping up in that last event. They've got the experience now. They're going to Poland. They're boot camping. They're getting ready for this new event. They were looking so good back in Challengers. They had a bit of a rough run at the international event, but this is their time to rally back and actually make something happen.
Do you have anything other than a narrative to sell me? Do you have anything other than just a nice story, like a sweet little bedtime story?
No.
I'm afraid that hasn't sold me. And for that reason, I'm out.
I'm okay with this right now.
What do you think, Duncan Bannatyne? Are you getting sold on the exec copium?
No. I mean, I think this list is fine.
You think this list is fine?
Is there anything you want to change here, Benkai?
Liquid up, crew up.
Oh my god!
I don't know. Are we just putting too much hope on Edward right now?
Yes. We are overrating Edward Gaming. When I was watching them in the finals, their Haven does not look good. Their Fracture looks like it's a sloppy version of PRX's, but it's good. They're gonna be able to outskill.
Do you want to know how I really feel?
I want to know how Kurt really feels because it's about to be based. So yeah.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
No.
No.
And below Shayna with this stuff.
Oh my god.
No.
Oh my god. We've taken a dramatic shift. A dramatic shift.
They killed Edward.
A dramatic shift.
I think Edward Gaming are gonna outskill teams like even Leviathan, Xerxia. I think Exet would just get skill diffed.
I do see them skill diffing Leviathan, just based on what I've seen in LCQ.
Put them back up. Please put Edward back up. I really want Edward to do good.
We'll okay.
I think this, except for what Mimi's done to KRÜ, which they've just kept creeping higher and higher up the rankings for no articulated reason other than they make it to international tournaments.
I think Mimi is trying to use this list to manifest reality.
Yeah, it's just I can't
Switch KRÜ and Edward back.
No. But I know.
I just, you know what you were saying earlier about how can there be such a big difference between Leviathan and KRÜ? I agree now for the opposite. How can there be such a large gap between KRÜ and Leviathan? There's just no reason to have KRÜ at 7th and Leviathan at 10th.
I know. There's no reason.
It makes sense.
Because Leviathan is going to get grouped by Edward Gaming. Edward and PRX make it out of Group A.
Not Liquid.
No. Edward and PRX make it out.
I mean, it doesn't.
Remember, Liquid. It'll be the battle of the overheats, and who overheats better? Edward Gaming.
Benkai, who's making it out of the first group? Are you guys making it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. It's good to see you have confidence at least in that.
Yeah, that was a confident. Yeah.
You can't put this on me, man. Like,
no, I know.
I've said this so many times in interviews. We're not going to say we are gonna lose or we're gonna win.
No, that's the best thing to do. The best thing to do is never give an answer. As soon as you give an answer or you say something too definitive about another team, you're cursing yourself. You're activating the curse. So you stay impartial for the good of PRX.
But I do
think team's success, you must stay impartial.
Any of the other 3 teams could be the winner of that group. I wouldn't be surprised if Leviathan won that group. It's Leviathan, Edward, and Liquid, right?
Yes.
Dude, it's Liquid.
Leviathan could do it.
I've had enough. It's Liquid. I've had enough. It's okay. Also,
dude,
not even that. It's about
Liquid
the fucking
isn't even a
power.
man's name. Who the fuck names him their organization Liquid? Edward will dominate them. Edward will delete them. You don't even know who the fuck Edward is, okay? I know Edward. I've been Edward. I've seen Edward. And Edward is gonna game all over them. He's gonna say it's gaming time, and then he's gonna game fucking everywhere, and then Edward's gonna get out of the groups, and then they're gonna lose in playoffs. But they were great.
Liquid is an entire state of matter. You are only one man, Edward. You can't rival an entire third of the matter in the universe. Huh?
One very rich man.
Yeah, one very rich man against all the liquid in the universe. Can Edward not drown?
I am not going to allow us to record a 4-hour podcast. Pull up the graphic.
Are we just leaving it like this? I disagree with so many things.
I think we should touch on Boom and Furia before we lock it in because we haven't talked about either of those teams.
I hate to do this. I'm sorry, Benkai, and I'm sorry to the APAC, but you got to put Furia ahead of Boom.
You're gonna put Bronzil ahead of Boom
I think
Esports?
Furia are gonna play some close game. I think they're just gonna be good in that bottom group.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna.
all right.
I feel like they're gonna have a similar showing to the previous champions. I think they're gonna look solid in their games, but they're gonna lose. But they're gonna look solid. I think they're gonna have a better. They're gonna perform better. So I'm going to put Furia 15.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't watched enough of Boom Esports to feel confident about rating them, honestly. Yeah, I'm not really sure.
I'm sorry, Boom.
You've just done it to them.
But I had to do it. Okay?
Do you think, Benkai, do you think there's a big gap between Xerxu and Boom?
Ooh. Based on what I saw Boom do in the LCQ, I wouldn't say so.
Right.
Like, it's the best Valorant that I've seen Boom play in a long, long time. So
Right.
I'll put them, like, they're not so far behind Xerxu.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. All right. Put Boom in 12th. All right.
I think we might be underrating Boom a little bit. I mean,
so too.
I also am speaking from a place of ignorance because I haven't done enough VOD review on them yet. But they're also in a group with that weakened Zeta division. You know, with Zeta having 4 out of 5 of their old roster.
Oh, yeah.
So there is a chance that Boom can squeak something away. But they're also in a group with Optic and Loud, and they shouldn't really be able to beat both of those teams.
I mean, is it disingenuous to put a weakened Zeta that we don't know what to expect coming in with playing with the sub, which is going to be probably a big debuff for them, worse than a Boom who, like, again, I haven't watched enough of them, that Benkai, our professional APAC expert, is saying is pretty close to Xerxu.
I would rather
also
keep Zeta because
third,
and they have experience. They have high pressure LAN experience.
And I mean, to be fair, like
And that
down,
matters.
like on the right side of the column, like you're either top 4 or you're bottom 4. It's just like the difference between winning or losing a game. I think all these teams will play close games. I think Furia will probably go out in 2, but play some really close, respectable games because it's a solid team. It's just they're in a tough group. I feel kind of similar about Boom.
I think, as usual, we've got this list completely wrong for reasons we don't know.
And
That's
yet,
my-
somehow I think I don't.
What, somehow you think this is perfect? The hubris of man.
No, I don't.
The hubris of
But
man.
I feel
I
like
still
something.
think Edward should be above
I
Liquid.
somehow think that this is going to be accurate about KRÜ though.
Well,
Yeah.
you've got the feeling in the air. Do you
I
think
don't know.
Mimi's tapped into the oracle?
I don't know why, but sure. Listen, once again, I'm not doing a 4-hour podcast.
Okay.
So if we're reasonably satisfied enough,
Can we Plat Chat guarantee this?
what can,
Yeah, please.
No,
Let's
we
put a
can't.
we
guarantee.
can't.
Everyone smile.
We're not
can
doing
Can
it.
we just smile for this?
No.
Like, this is great.
I don't want to smile. This list
I'm
doesn't
not
make me want to
smiling.
smile.
I'm not smiling.
You can smile, Mimi.
Josh,
I'll smile. I
You
like
said
this
you had a
list.
few
Actually, no, I
problems.
don't. Edward's too low. I'll frown.
I just want to hear, what is your one biggest problem?
My one biggest problem.
Maybe the alcoholism.
I don't think there is a huge problem. I think there's a lot of small things that I would tweak around. But actually, I think the rough, bare bones of it is okay.
It's not egregious.
I think if Loud shits the bed again, that could be a major issue. But
Yeah.
I just don't see that happening. That would be outrageous, I think, for like a Boom or a Zeta to
It would
have
be.
knocked him out. But
Yeah, that's yeah.
I think also this
still.
power ranking has Liquid, Edward, and Leviathan all right next to each other. And if one of them wins, gets out of the group, and goes on a run, they could end up being placed way higher. But it's so hard to tell which of the three it could be. So I don't really have too much of a problem there. I think people are going to look at this and mold about where XSET and 100 Thieves are. I think the common folk are going to be mad at Zeta Division because they don't realize they're playing with only 4 out of 5. And I think that's a really important point to stress. And XSET and 100 Thieves, I think people are going to be like, what the fuck? Liquid got out of LCQ and you've put them at 8th, and 100 Thieves get out of LCQ and you've put them at 13th? Are you stupid?
Europe diff. I hate to say it, Europe diff. But
All right.
also, XSET could.
Yeah.
I mean, XSET could definitely end up being way higher. It's just You just literally cannot know because it's narrative-driven bullshit.
Yeah.
So you just have to wait and see if they just
I think the
play well
biggest
because they
issue is
can.
the NA
It's just-
teams.
What's right?
Sorry, I feel like just the biggest issue is the NA teams because I feel like they could either just like fucking flop or like either of these teams could go on just like a random good run.
Well, that's fine because
Like-
we're going to leave them in the low positions to drive engagement. Let's do the pick'em. Let's
now
do
that's-
the pick'em.
that's a smart move.
I'm locking it in. Pick'em time,
Let's lock
baby.
it in.
So now we're going to go
Pick'em time.
all against what we've power ranked
Yeah,
during the pick'ems.
yeah.
Okay,
Let's
cool.
do the pick'em.
Cool. I did my pick'ems this morning and I made a mess of them. So this is my chance at making a mess of ours as well.
These days, I use a random number generator,
No, you don't.
and it's gotten me above 50%. The only way, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
It's better than using my mind or
Mm,
what's left of it.
just the carcass that remains trapped inside
All
its
right.
bony cage.
Paper X are beating Edward.
Yes.
Team Liquid are
Yes.
beating Leviathan.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Paper X are beating Liquid.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Paper
I
X are
said that,
qualified.
not Benkai. The curse isn't a thing. Just don't
Yeah.
say anything during this segment, Benkai. Just don't say anything. Don't get cursed. Don't say anything. Edward Leviathan.
Edward beat
beats
Leviathan.
Edward beat Liquid.
Can't wait until Leviathan don't go out.
This game is a smoker. This game's legendary. Legendary.
I mean,
Also, I
I'm
think.
going Liquid, but
Oh my god.
if I'm, you guys
Edward
want to get it
win.
wrong, that's on you. It's not my problem.
Oh Christ.
There's nothing in that cup.
Not my
That cup
problem.
is empty.
All right,
I think
Liquid.
I
mean, listen. There's only there's three of us here, so if you guys overrule me again, that's fine.
I'm Edward.
Can
going-
Benkai
That's
not
your
pick
problem.
this match?
I'm going Edward.
No, we can't, Kurt. I won't allow
Just
it.
no-
Benkai should
nothing-
not predict
I
games in
won't-
his group.
I won't allow it. No Benkai
Kurt?
prediction.
So
I mean, then there's three of us. Then Edward wins.
Yes, so Edward wins.
I'm going for. But I think Leviathan have a really strong chance of winning the opening game against Liquid, which means that they're never in a position where they play Edward for elimination there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if
Yes, I
Leviathan win the upper game, Liquid could knock out Edward in 2
Yeah.
and then Leviathan go through. And
I
I
hear
think
you.
that that's possible. I just don't think Leviathan win the matchup against
I
Edward
think this is
Gaming.
the most likely situation, and I think Edward wins.
Okay. All right. Let's reawaken Benkai for his Preds.
Submit that one. Nice. Perfect predictions. Optic boom. All right.
Optic
Going
always
Optic.
lose their first match.
Right, folks. We're
Optic
going
always
loud.
lose their first match online. Predict against them.
But boom though.
No.
I mean, you said the Boom weren't that far behind Xerxia. Can they do the
Xerxia
same
are-
thing?
They're the Optic slayers.
Xerxia are the Optic killers.
But it's their first event as well, you know. They're gonna have their first event curse kind of thing going for them. So I don't see them beating Optic right now.
Yeah.
That is true. Xerxia, they've got the experience.
Yeah.
All right.
Loud Zeta Division's pretty cool. I don't think they actually played against each other at all, even though they finished second, third.
They did not.
Yeah.
Because Zeta were in the... Loud ran it through the upper and Zeta ran in the lower.
Again, should be a Loud victory because Zeta are playing with only 4 out of 5.
Yeah. Surely.
Maybe XDLL's just a cracked player.
All right.
Boom Zeta.
I'm probably gonna go. Dude, I hate to go, but I really would like to see a nice Zeta run, but the sub, having a sub is just so hard.
The problem as well is
Makes it so difficult.
we don't get to watch Zeta Division before champs and see if,
Yeah, I just have no idea.
see what they're doing, see how they look. They just
We saw
gotta-
them
they
lose.
just lost.
Yeah, they just lost to North Eption, and now we know they have a sub. So it just
Yeah.
kind of is planting in your mind that there's not.
I'd like to go for Zeta Division here, but I think that's just my fear of getting roasted by Japan again. Just my
I know.
fear
I would like to go
talking.
Zeta too, but it's just so tough when you have a sub. I mean, it's crazy that FPX even made it out of the group. It's
Okay.
just a testament to how good they were. But boom. I'm boom.
All right.
Are you boom?
I don't know. I might be zading. I might be zading. I think that like even with the sub, there's still a chance. I think that if they're gonna beat someone early, boom, I think they can play it close game. They get their warm up out of the way. Their core four is experienced and really good, even with the loss of 10. Like, I mean, this is just blind hopium and blind picks because we know nothing about what they'll actually look like. But I just like, I believe.
I'm going to remove myself from this, which
God,
makes
they are
Benkai
the Zeta players are so cracked though.
They're
But actually,
so good.
even on their
They
run,
are so-
Depp didn't play very well. I mean, Depp had like 2 maps where he popped off, and the rest of the run he
In
was
Reykjavik?
Yeah, he was pretty bad.
After that though, I thought Depp was looking sick online.
Yeah, he's always good online, but he just didn't turn up at all on their run.
God, the Zeta players are so cracked.
But
though.
part of them being cracked was 10. Sugar Zero was their best player, but then 10 was nasty.
What
and
if
he's
the
not
guy
playing.
from Bubble Bee Esports or whatever the org was is just like God's gift to Valorant?
Dude, I'm
Like,
switching
what
to
if he
Zeta.
just comes up?
You're
like,
switching to Zeta.
Yeah,
It's gotta be
Okay,
Zeta.
all
I'm
right.
switching to Zeta.
Benkai's on the podcast, and we've just rolled APAC.
Benkai,
I
are you
think
okay
that's a
with this?
fair sub. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Honestly, I do think that Zeta has talent enough to win them, if not make it close with Boom.
Have you scrimmed the new Zeta? Do you have any,
No,
have the streets
no.
said anything about new Zeta?
Not that I've heard. We're kind of disconnected from the Japanese region, really. So you don't really hear much about them.
Gotcha.
Streets of Tokyo, don't be talking. See what it is.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay,
Looking at it again,
That's fine.
Boom's first event, Zeta have the experience. Even though they have a sub, the players on their team are fucking sick, and they should be able to. Maybe they just eke out a close win, but sure. Because honestly, I don't want to stay on it too long. Because also, I don't think either of these teams can make it past Optic or Loud unless something crazy happens.
This is the first time where Optic's going to get out of the group undefeated. This is
I'm okay with that.
This is the time.
I am okay with that.
And people are going to go into the playoffs like, holy shit, Optic's in form. They're looking incredible. And then they lose their first game of playoffs instead.
Okay. Go down. All right. FPX are beating KRÜ.
Hot take.
Xersha's winning.
Xersha wins that one. That's what
They
you're
always win the first round. They always win the first round, then go out in 2. It's the narrative. The narrative.
Yeah.
Except chokes a little bit their first game. Play a close game against KRÜ. Oh God, but then I have to pick between KRÜ and XSET.
If KRÜ plays against XSET, I believe in KRÜ. I believe in KRÜ to beat XSET more than I believe in Xersha to beat XSET. I think KRÜ have just got the like winning in scrappy moments
does win.
buff.
It's just like their child duo was so good,
Actually,
and
though,
it's like
maybe I'm just too low on XSET overall because they should have won the game against Leviathan and they tossed it because they were nervous and underperforming. If XSET don't shit the bed, they should just by default be a better team than Leviathan.
I mean, remember
KRÜ.
they lost that series because someone satcheled into heaven to grab the spike after the spike got ulted there. Like that's how they lost.
Yeah, they lost because they didn't win the duel against the guy that did that.
There were a lot.
And
there were a lot.
And they
of rounds that
tossed
could've
like
changed the
5
game.
match points as well.
I think Benkai was going to say something about XSET if I heard correctly.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like XSET is gonna win Xersha on their first matchup. I don't know if it's just me, but it's just because XSET's gonna be boot camping in Poland right now.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be practicing against teams that have a similar play style to what Xersha has. So it's really a really good matchup for them on their first matchup. That's why I feel like XSET's gonna win Xersha.
I mean,
I think
is,
we might have underrated XSET.
Here's what we do.
Rankings as
We
well.
underrate XSET on the rankings, and then we put XSET winning the games in the predictions. So no matter what happens, we're correct.
Yeah, good idea.
Because
actually.
Smart.
there's just no way to fucking know unless you've got a time machine. Because last we saw of them, they underperformed at LAN. We haven't seen anything since. We're just waiting to see, do they underperform or do they play at their level this time?
Yeah.
You're just waiting and seeing, and
Please,
there's
play
literally no
normally.
way to know. Let's just guess on the Preds they play normally, though. And then FPX win the next game. And then you have KRÜ Xersha.
Xersha always win a game, but I like KRÜ. I feel like they're good in these scenarios where their backs against the wall. Is this
laugh.
the run? Is this
You
the
laugh.
Zersha run?
You laugh.
I mean, it's only a matter of time.
this is the bracket. This is it.
It's only a matter of time until Zersha go on the run.
But they did go on the run. Last champs, they went on the run and they made it to playoffs.
Well, yeah.
They did. I mean, they literally did. They looked good.
So it's like poetry.
Okay, no more. Let's. The surf and sushi boys. Fuck it. Zersha's
that
winning.
was
I believe in
almost a
this.
sentence. So close.
I believe in this. I believe in this. Do it, Kurt. You're right. Exit. Zersha.
Oh, no.
All right, I mean, Kurt's passionate, and it's kind of getting me on board. With no facts,
I'm buying into the
nothing,
passion.
just pure passion. He's kind of getting me on board.
No
Dude.
facts, no logic. This is what the liberals want. They want Zersha to win. It's gonna be amazing.
This would be the most tragic of brackets for XSET. They start out filling everybody in North America with hope, and then they get bopped by the defending champions and just plummet. Yeah? I could see it happening. I think it's a very tough fight between the XSET, Zersha, and KRÜ. I think any of those matches can go any way.
I'm okay with locking that in, though.
Okay?
I'm okay with locking that in.
The little
Kurt
APAC
got
run.
me to believe. Kurt got me to believe.
So then, there's still another group.
Yep,
isn't
one more group. We got DRX for DRX. Fnatic. Lower bracket,
100
Thieves. Decider,
in my opinion,
100 Thieves,
DRX.
Dude, I'm there. Listen, Kurt's got me on board again, but also I also already believed. I believe in 100 Thieves in this game. I think listen, the stage is set for all of the narratives to complete at this point. You have the DRX not making it out of groups when there are NA and EU teams in them at Champions narrative.
Which has only happened once before.
And the narrative will continue.
I have a theory.
They just typically lose to NA and EU teams.
Do you want to see something?
Yeah.
What about this?
No.
If that happens,
Dear
Fnatic are
God, no.
plowing 100 Thieves, I think.
I mean, are they? Because then also, you've got the 100 Thieves preparation narrative, which is now relevant because they get to watch the matches back.
Okay,
Dude,
for
DRX
starters,
Which is why
constantly
they're
plays
going to
like
beat.
the same.
I think Fnatic make it through in the upper, and I think they're going to beat DRX. All of the narratives are colliding in this one moment.
Yes.
In a
This is
narrative
such a good
explosion. And they're going to make it through.
I think 100 Thieves have a couple of players that DRX are going to snack on. I think DRX are a more skilled roster all round than 100 Thieves are.
I mean, were they looking like it last time you saw them?
Who, DRX?
Yeah.
I mean, no, Buzz had a pretty bad tournament, but that's Buzz's only bad tournament he's ever played.
Yeah. But
It was a good RB tournament, at least at the start, like it always is.
listen, they've got
It probably will be
great
still here.
players on that team, but
Even if Asuna diffs RB, I still feel like Will's going to have his lunch money taken. Stella's going to be a bit out of his depth trying to IGL against DRX.
way to put it.
Yeah.
Stacks is just going to bully Will and take his lunch money?
Yeah, he gets shoved in a locker and his lunch money gets taken.
No.
I think also it's going to be a challenge, even if 100 Thieves have got the prep at this point, because DRX normally still have new ideas in their... I suppose at this point it's their third game. I was thinking about it being their second game, but it would be their third at this point. By that point, DRX have normally shown, at least 3 maps.
Also, Josh, consider that once again we're covering our own asses because we're putting NA qualifying and doing poorly. So no
But yeah,
matter
that's so
what,
smart.
we're right.
Put 100
This is
Thieves
so smart.
winning for the decider.
DRX are consistent.
Benkai, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling 100 Thieves for this one. I don't know.
And DRX
Is
is
it
their
really-
scrim partner. Like, he knows this team.
There it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
You think Sean Gez gets the read on him?
By that point in the tournament, I would say yes. If it's like a very first matchup, I don't think they would win it against DRX like 100 Thieves. I don't think they'll win it if it was their first matchup. But maybe after that, I think they'll be more prepared.
Yes. Good pick'ems. Lock them in.
I like it.
This is.
I'm ready to lock it in.
I mean,
And all
again,
of it to not be right.
so many things wrong.
So we have PRX, Edward Gaming,
Edward. Dude.
Optic and Loud,
FPX,
FPX
Xersha,
Xersha.
and Fnatic 100 Thieves.
Oh,
I'm happy.
God.
I'm
See,
happy.
the mad
I'm
part
pleased.
here as well
Great.
is you went with the 100 Thieves pred to counter underrating the NA teams. You didn't do that for XSET. We just blasted Xersha off.
It's because the Xersha
had
passion that Kurt exuded really convinced me.
Uh-huh.
I'm a man of emotion.
Dude, they've been knocked out by like the best teams in the last 2 tournaments they're in. They actually, they got
Well,
knocked
not
out by
quite.
Northeption, but they
Yeah.
lost to PRX and Optic before that.
Yeah, but they got knocked out of the most recent one by Northeption.
But it was like
Meteor
a
was on
quadruple overtime game.
Meteor was on a crazy heater.
It was, yeah, but
I mean,
but that's just gonna be Zekken.
maybe.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm
listen,
happy.
There are cracked matches
locked in.
left, right, and center with these groups, though.
Yeah.
There are cracked games.
All right. It's time for the last segment. You know what it is. Roll the tape, Kurt.
This trophy
Roll
before.
that tape.
Wyatt's weekly award. But who's getting it this time?
Man. You already know it's going to tens, baby. You already know it's going to tens.
Why?
You already know it's going to 10 because
Right,
it's
yeah.
engaged to
Yeah.
Kaide, and it's very cute. And congratulations to them. So they're Tens and it's a joint Wyatt's Weekly Award for Tens and Kaide because congratulations on the engagement.
They got
that's
engaged
awesome.
8 months ago.
Yep, and kept it a secret, and then dropped it to break the internet. Oh, this is so cute. And so that's I think this is the 3rd time Tens has won a weekly award.
That's just absurd.
which is absurd, but I mean
Such a mainstream podcast that we've become.
listen, I'm trying to expand our horizons to the more mainstream Valorant crowd, you know. We can't be too niche. No, congratulations to them though. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Very
a, good-
sweet.
that's a deserving weekly award, damn it. See, this is no longer the paid weekly award. We're back on track. We are back on track.
It's lost all of its credibility after you accepted 1 sub for it. 1 sub. I mean, that's just... that's
Christ.
outrageous.
All right.
Oh, by the way, there was some breaking news.
Banned to T1?
Yeah, Banware to T1. That's pretty good.
What? Was there other breaking news?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, it's just that? It's just banned to T1? Dude, we never...
That's it?
Oh,
Yeah,
we
the-
never talked... Oh,
I don't think
no
there's
ban
any
to T-
breaking news. Listen, when we get the teams that are actually locked in for partnerships, maybe we'll talk about stuff like that.
Sure.
But until there's some word that like T1 are actually in,
Any breaking news?
I think they're very likely to.
No breaking news.
We're already. Oh, there is some breaking news.
Dude,
The
Dog
Esport.
420 Blaze It is going for that karma with the speed.
Dog 420 Blaze It.
I'm glad that's...
Talk about speed. There was
That's
already a
our audience,
journalist
baby.
that wrote an article about something Benkai said on the podcast. Already.
What?
Did he?
Yes.
There you go.
The Esports already churned out the content machine to produce
my
an article
God.
that he didn't want to play Edward Gaming. That's the whole article.
Oh my...
Just everything gets turned into the yo Benkai's
Oh.
afraid of
Oh
Edward
my god,
Gaming.
no. I have to tell you guys about this. So this happened today. We are filming we have a lot of interviews that we did today at the PRX headquarters, and there was this one interview that we did. There's there was one of these questions that went, how are you guys coping with your captain Benkai leaving after champions to become a caster? That was one of the interview questions. So somewhere out there, some poor soul thought that I really was going to retire to be a caster. But
God.
Can't believe he's retiring.
Yeah, I know, that's so
I
sad.
can't
my
believe it.
favorite
I mean,
player.
thank you for deciding to
Can't
announce it on this podcast. Like that's really
Yeah.
touching that you would decide to announce that on
Yeah.
Plat Chat.
Plat Chat
yeah, I've got my
exclusive.
suit on. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Take that, Esports. We've got the exclusives.
Here's something I don't understand, actually, Benkai. You don't travel with those outfits. You buy them when you get there, right? Because most of the time they lose your luggage. But then you bring them all back with you. So do you just have a closet in your house that's full of fancy dress outfits?
Some of them I don't keep because there's just not enough space in my luggage, but I do have space. I somehow just find a space in my room to just like put it, you know. Don't use this as reference because a lot of these things like behind here don't belong to me. But I swear there's a clean closet.
What, you're a
with
kleptomaniac? You just
organized,
like stealing things as well?
Yeah, I'm a hoarder. I just like take things and just chug it in the
What's
corner.
the story behind Kermit?
Well, he's a very famous Muppet. Do you know of the Muppets? I know you're very young, but it was like a character that's a frog.
I
It's a
have
puppet
actually
show.
heard of them. I have heard of them.
Uh-huh.
I just have a weird obsession with frogs.
Dude,
Okay,
you're not the only one.
You and
You're
the
not the only
entirety
one.
of the internet, I think.
Love those silly green frogs.
They're so funny.
They even look cute when they're smiling in a puddle of their own piss.
I
Those
mean,
cute little
I mean,
frogs.
I don't know about that. I mean, you can have that
I don't
even
know
on
about
your
that one.
channel
That's
if
a
you
good
want.
emote.
Pepe
Pepe. It's a good emote. Yeah, it is. It's a great emote. It is. It's fantastic.
No.
It's
You're just
fantastic.
having like a fucking internal monologue. It sounds like you're going crazy. Oh, it's so good, dude. Just thinking
I was
about it.
talking to Kurt, but he wasn't putting his
Dude.
voiceover.
That's such a good. That's so good. That's so good.
Sometimes I hear Kurt in my ear, even when I'm not doing Plat chat. I'm just going around my day-to-day life, and it's just Kurt in my head. You should really do the
I
dishes.
hear that laugh. That damn laugh always echoing in my head.
Damn.
That little guy. Holy
Look
shit.
at this.
Dude. That's awesome.
That's such, dude.
I
He's
thought
got some
turtles were supposed to be
speed,
slow.
man. He's going like 20 miles an hour.
That thing would beat a hare in a race. You wouldn't need to feed the hare sedatives. That's definitely what
Was
happened,
that
by
the
way.
moral of the story?
Yeah, it was cheat your way to victory. He spiked the hare's drink at the beginning of the race. That was the part that Aesop left out of his fable.
Okay. I need to go eat lunch.
Using code PLAT5.
Yeah, I might use code
Good.
PLAT5 to get $5 off from Grubhub on my order of $10 or plus as a first-time Grubhub user. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Much appreciated. Thank you, Benkai, for coming on. Little
Thank
guest
you.
appearance.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. Was very fun. And yeah, that is it for episode 102 of Plat Chat Valorant. And we'll see you guys next time whenever...